46%. Chapter 221. You damn girl, this time. You delivered it to me. The moonlight is like water. When the scorching sun disappears behind the western mountains, the night in the endless desert also makes people feel a bit cool. But inside Tian Serpent City, the atmosphere is still a bit fiery. Mu Lin and the chiefs of several major tribes, as well as Xiao Chen and his party arrived to celebrate the queen's return. A grand bonfire dinner was specially held in the sacrificial square. Although Qian and Xiao Chen were not present, the dinner was still in full swing. Many men and women from the snake tribe sang and danced together, which made Murong Qingshe, Xiaomeier and others find it strange. Aren't the young master and sister Qian coming out yet? Seeing that the atmosphere in the entire square was very good, but the protagonists were nowhere to be seen, Bai Suxin asked in surprise. No. After hearing Bai Suxin's words, Xiaomeier shook her head and replied. It's not like you don't know how much trouble Xiao Chen's stinky brother has made. The two of them will not come out of the hall without half a day or a day and a night. Hearing Xiaomeier's straightforward words, Bai Suxin and others' faces turned slightly red. To know is to know. But she and her sister Bai Suxin were lucky enough to experience it once. It hurt so much and was so intense. In the end, I was all confused. I wonder how long I can remember. Where's the butterfly? When Bai Suxin felt some longing in her heart, she quickly suppressed the charm in her heart. He glanced at the square and asked in surprise. Then Nizi said she was going to take care of things, but she never showed up. Xiaomeier rolled her eyes when she heard this, and replied in a strange voice. But I think that girl is so mysterious that she probably isn't doing any good things. The other side. Compared to the bustle in the sacrifice square, the main hall deep in the royal city seemed a bit quiet. And in the main hall where Xiao Chen and Qian were, a figure was lying on the roof sneakily. I am afraid that my figure will be seen by others. Damn it, isn't it too strong for my sister to impose this ban? Feeling the power of the forbidden barrier in the hall, Dai couldn't help but have a look of anger on his face. From noon to now, several hours have passed, and these two people still haven't come out. Could it be that he fainted inside? But the more this happened, the more curious Dia became. In the past few hours, she kept trying to break through this restriction, but she just couldn't penetrate it. It made her cheeks bulge with anger. Her cultivation level is still a little weak, and she wants to quietly break through the restrictions. It's still a bit forced for her now. If he breaks out of the restriction with all his strength, it will definitely alarm others and anger his sister and brother-in-law. She just felt a little curious, and she didn't even think about it. Forget it, let's go back to sleep. Just when Dai was about to give up, she suddenly felt the hall was restricted, and it suddenly fluctuated violently. This made her eyes suddenly light up. After the prohibition barrier is set up, the person involved needs to inject new energy every once in a while. If not, the energy of the forbidden barrier cannot be maintained for long. Now that the forbidden enchantment is fluctuating, it proves that the enchantment's true energy is about to be exhausted. It seems that her constant erosion just now has caused the barrier's true energy to be consumed so much that the original owner needs to replenish it. This brief fluctuation is an opportunity. As long as her sister had no time to replenish her true energy, she would be able to break through the restricted blockade and successfully spy on everything in the hall. When the thought falls, Dai condensed his soul power into a soul needle and pierced the barrier at this moment. Next moment, just as she expected, the restrictive barrier that had been difficult to break through was completely pierced by her soul needle at this moment. But with the penetration of the soul needle, at this time, the scene in the hall also entered her mind. What master? It's going to be broken, my soul will fly away. Her sister was kneeling on the ground, talking nonsense, looking like she was crazy. That picture, that sound. In an instant, Dai's pupils couldn't help but dilate, and he froze on the roof of the hall. WTF? WTF? Is this her sister? How could you assume such a posture, say such words, and show such an expression? It felt like I was possessed. After feeling the turmoil in his heart, Dai tightly covered his mouth, and then stood up carefully. Get ready to leave here and go back to calm down. But that's it. Qian, who had just experienced convulsions all over her body, raised her head a little weakly at this time, seeming to notice the butterfly on the roof. My good sister, this time, you brought it to your door yourself, so you can't blame your sister. After these two sentences were spoken, Qian raised her hand and pointed at the main hall. Next moment, the void was torn open by colorful smoke, and her right hand reached into the crack in the void, appearing behind Dai like a ghost. As the void behind Dai shattered, Kyan grabbed the opponent with her arm. Then, with Dai's exclamation, he pulled the opponent into the crack. Seeing the butterfly falling from the crack in the void, Xiao Chen was completely confused at this moment. What the hell? I caught my sister in the middle of it, is it so exciting now? Since you are so eager and want to experience it so much. Then prepare to transform. Seeing Dai's pupils widening, he couldn't help but exclaim. Kyan was like a demon queen at this moment, bursting into cultivation to block the hall. Then in Dai's panicked eyes, he stretched out his devil's claws towards his biological sister. This is destined to be a bloody night. I went out to the bar and asked for a little princess to play with. Unexpectedly, I ordered classmate Yan Lingji. She was also wearing a sexy Christmas costume. I was completely shocked. The next day, as a battle came to an end, Xiao Chen also opened his eyes at this time. A terrifying aura of cultivation swept across like a storm. After practicing day and night, and in an unexpected situation in the middle of the night, Xiao Chen absorbed some precious energy, which made Xiao Chen's cultivation improve by leaps and bounds. I just broke through to the 9th level of Nirvana the day before, and now I have broken through to the 3rd level of Universal Truth. Such a terrifying speed of cultivation advancement. He couldn't help but doubt that he might be able to become the great emperor in a few years. Ooh sister, how can you be like this and not prepare for me at all? When Xiao Chen lamented that his cultivation speed was too abnormal, Dai beside him said to Kai Yan with a grieved expression. She was forced to undergo transformation before she was ready. Is this something my sister can do? Are you really not ready? Hearing Dai's extremely aggrieved words, Kyan couldn't help but sneered and pinched the other person's chin with her right hand. My good sister, your body doesn't lie to others. You obviously cooperate so well. How can you say not ready? The fall of these two sentences. Dai's face turned red immediately, and then he looked at Xiao Chen with a collapsed expression. Brother-in-law, sister, she is bullying me, please help me teach her a lesson. 46%. Chapter 222 I won't be fooled again. You witch, don't try to seduce me again. You damn girl, you are really going to rebel. Hearing Dai say this, Kyan frowned and immediately grabbed the other person's ears. They all said that this title should not be used, but this girl has always ignored her words. Could it be? This damn girl has been thinking about seducing her man since she was a child. It hurts, it hurts. Being grabbed by Kai Yan's ear, Dai Yu shouted with a grieved expression, then looked at Xiao Chen. Brother-in-law, are you going to let her bully me like this? Ooh, I was so good just now. Xiao Chen immediately trembled when he heard Dai's tea-smelling and pitiful voice. Anger instantly surged from his belly, making him burst out with an inexplicable momentum like a god descending from heaven. The brave snake monster actually dares to bully my sister-in-law, let's see how I deal with you next. After saying that, Xiao Chen was as powerful as a tiger descending from the mountain. Help me capture her. Today, I must let her live or die, and let her vent her anger for you. After hearing these two words from Xiao Chen, Dai's face was filled with excitement, and he showed his claws at this moment. A gentleman's revenge is never too late. The little girl's revenge makes her unable to breathe overnight. 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hexi, the situation has changed. Today, she is going to let this sister have a taste of being tortured in order to avenge her being tortured last night. On the other side, the Mohist family in Hengshan. Sacrifice to the ancestors and come out of the coffin. In the cemetery in the back mountain of the Mohist family in Hengshan. As Mo Changgong's serious words echoed, several senior officials of the Mo family knelt down at this moment. Immediately afterwards, 2 black ironwood coffins, exuding overwhelming corpse aura, were also brought out from the ancestral cemetery. These are the 2 corpse puppets of the 9th level of sainthood left behind by the corpse ancestor generals. It was the 2 old heads of the Mo family who had reached the 9th level of sainthood. When their longevity was about to run out, they voluntarily sacrificed themselves and let the corpse ancestor generals take action to sacrifice them into corpse puppets. Although these 2 corpse puppets were refined by the corpses provided by the Mo family. But without the permission of the corpse ancestor generals, he could only be allowed to sleep in the ancestral mausoleum. Only when the Mo family encounters a catastrophe of life and death, or with the permission of the corpse ancestor generals, can these 2 corpse puppets wake up from their slumber. Everyone, this trip to destroy the Huo family is extremely risky. However, our Mo family was able to become one of the 3 hidden families because of the care of the corpse ancestor. Now that the corpse ancestor has given orders, the Mo family will not hesitate to go through fire and water. In this battle, any one of us has the possibility of falling. But for the glory of the Mo family, to repay the kindness of the corpse ancestor, and for the Mo family in Hengshan, to become the overlord of the eastern wasteland in the future. Children of the Mohist family are fearless of death. After the ancestor worship was completed, Mo Changgong spoke in a low voice and started some encouragement. After saying that, Mo Changgong raised his hand and waved lightly, accompanied by a roar and explosion. A mysterious arc with a size of 200 feet and emitting black energy appeared in the sky above the Mo family. This is Tianmozhou. The Mohist family exhausted huge resources to build the Saint rank Xuanzhou. Although only the power core has reached Saint level and the entire hull is made of heavenly rank supreme grade material, a Saint rank formation is still engraved on it. Look at the entire eastern wasteland. The Xuanzhou that can be compared with Tianmozhou will definitely not exceed the number of 5 fingers. Even if the Eastern Baron is tens of millions of miles across, the Tianmo boat can cross the north and south of the Eastern Baron in just a few days. The Dongyuan Huo family is more than 20 million miles away from the Mo family in Hengshan. If we are fast enough, we can reach the Huo family in 2.5 days. In these 2.5 days, please be prepared. Our Mo family must not be defeated. After glancing at the heavenly demon boat in the sky, Mo Changgong raised his hand and gave the order. Get on the boat and set off. With this order, the remaining 7 elders of the Mo family entered the Saint Realm, as well as 6 zombie monsters who entered the Saint Realm. Naturally, this includes the 2 corpse puppet ancestors who have entered the 9th level of sainthood, as well as the 300 celestial human realm experts trained by the Mohist family. At this moment, they all boarded the Tianmo boat. The terrifying murderous intention was like a sword piercing the sky, and the Tianmo boat also turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the sky. It turned out that classmate Yan Lingji's mother was sick, and she had to work part-time as a last resort. I casually loaned her 100,000 yuan, and she was so moved that she took me to rent a house with her, saying she wanted to repay me. The next day, in a certain hall in Tian Snake City, Xiao Chen couldn't help but sigh. Too sloppy. It was fine at first. But later, Dai suddenly betrayed and joined the battlefield to form a 2-on-1. In the end, he ended up being attacked from both sides. Really, the more beautiful a woman is, the better she is at deceiving others. This backstab trick is perfect, just like digging a hole for him to jump into. Sir, this woman is too hateful, otherwise. Stop it. Hearing Dai's soft face bewitching him again, Xiao Chen felt a pain in his back and quickly interrupted the girl's words. You just look innocent on the outside, but you're worse than your sister on the inside. From now on, I will never be fooled again. You, a witch, will never try to seduce me again. Xiao Chen glanced at Dai with an annoyed expression, but Xiao Chen remained unmoved at this moment. Once you have suffered a loss, how can you be fooled again? He must never trust this kind of person who defected on the battlefield and faced enemies from both sides. Brother-in-law, how can you turn your back on me and deny me? Hearing Xiao Chen's heartless words, Dai's face showed a sad look. The little mouth pouted, as if you don't come to comfort me, I will just cry to you. Stop it. From now on, except for certain special moments in private, when you can call me this title, you must call me young master the rest of the time. Before Dai had finished speaking, Xiao Chen seemed to have remembered something and warned Dai with a solemn expression. He remembers, behind every transmigrator, there is a big terror called he crab. Some names should not be shouted randomly. If it attracts that great terror, I am afraid it will cause serious consequences. All right, seeing Xiao Chen's serious expression, Dai didn't say much at this time. Well, the young master's treasure is the one who is obedient, ahem. Xiao Chen reached out and touched Dai's head, and then continued in a soft voice. By the way, I'll name your sister Kayan, but you've already named yourself Dai, so just add Kayan in front of it. The colorful butterfly symbolizes that you are a free butterfly in the colorful world. Thank you, sister. No, thank you, sir, for the name. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Dai.no, from now on, it should be called Kai Dai. Katie smiled sweetly, hugged Xiao Chen's arm, and gave him a smack on the face. This scene. Kayan looked helpless. She is hundreds of years old and still looks like a child. This sister is really enough. Well, let's explain to the clan members that it's time for us to leave the snake clan. After touching Kai Dai's head, Xiao Chen said to Kai Yan, and several people left the hall. After being delayed at the snake tribe for several days, it was time to go to the Dongyuan Huo family to harvest. 46%. Chapter 223. Is this Queen Medusa so terrifying? Dakion Imperial City. In an inner courtyard of the Xian Chamber of Commerce headquarters, as a beam of light suddenly rose into the sky, a vortex also appeared in the void. Immediately afterwards, in a roaring roar, a two-headed magic dragon pulling a chariot to the palace also rushed out of the space vortex. The young master is back. Seeing the double-headed demon dragon chariot rushing out of the whirlpool, Zikang, Ziling and others all showed expressions of ecstasy. The young master's double-headed magic dragon chariot is still as cool as ever. This kind of appearance is even more shocking than before. Is this Mr. Xiao's magic dragon chariot? Sure enough. Isn't that right? This a chariot palace at the saint rank level. Looking at the double-headed magic dragon chariot in the void, Huo Lingji, who came to the inner courtyard after receiving the message, couldn't help but widen her pupils as she screamed in surprise. The two-headed demon dragon pulling the cart in front of him exuded a terrifying aura. He was actually stronger than the protector beside her. The person next to her is the 11th elder of the Dongyuan Huo family, and his cultivation has reached the second level of sainthood. I didn't expect such a level of cultivation. He can't even compare to a cart-pulling slave beast. Who is this Mr. Xiao? What a terrifying dragon, it seems to be an undead monster. Is it possible that this person named Xiao has some relationship with the Hengshan Mo family? While Huo Lingji was shocked, the 11th elder of the Huo family also looked horrified. But, after feeling the necromantic aura of the two-headed demon dragon puppet, Huo Xuanfeng's expression became very serious, and his cultivation was secretly gathering at this moment. If Xiao Chen is from the Mo family in Hengshan, then, there might be a fight. Roar. Next moment, amidst the different expressions of several people, the two-headed demon dragon puppet let out a roar and landed steadily in this manner. Xiao Chen and a group of beauties also walked down at this time. Ha ha ha, Mr. Xiao once again came to the Xian Chamber of Commerce, and he really made the Xian Chamber of Commerce shine. Seeing Xiao Chen's figure again, Zikang, Zishuan and others laughed, and each of them quickly went up and bowed. People who don't know think that Xiao Chen is the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Son. As for Ziling, a beautiful woman, her eyes became a little excited when she saw this face again. He immediately went up to confess his love to Xiao Chen and said what he had not said that day. This time, if she didn't take Xiao Chen well, she might miss him forever in the future. But, after seeing the group of beauties surrounding Xiao Chen, Ziling still didn't dare to step forward at this moment. Wow, is this the Dakion Imperial City? It is indeed more impressive than the Snake Tribe. After Zikang, Zishuan and others came forward, Kai Dai looked at the magnificent buildings around her and couldn't help but let out an exclamation. Just a chamber of commerce. Even if they are decorated so magnificently, the human race is indeed richer than the snake race. Without asking whether I agreed or not, classmate Yan Lingji took off her clothes and took off her belt when she came up. Under the anesthesia of alcohol, I accidentally made a mistake. Unexpectedly. She was still as protective as a jade. Beautiful. Queen Medusa. After hearing Kai Dai's ethereal words, Zikang, Zishuan and others glanced at Kai Yan and Kai Dai. After seeing Kaiyan, a cold queen, the pupils of Zikang, Zishuan and others shrank. This queen finally appears. Not only has the cart slave reached the Saint Realm level, but there are also two strong Saint Realm masters beside him. Huo Xuanfeng felt the fluctuations in the cultivation of Kai Yan and Kai Dai, and his old face showed a look of shock and disbelief. Unimaginable. Within a dynasty, to be able to see so many strong men from Saint Realm, this Mr. Xiao's backstage will definitely not be inferior to that of the Huo family. Ha ha ha, the young master left in such a hurry, I miss him day and night. I didn't expect that after a few days, the young master would once again be his beautiful Queen Medusa. When Zikang, Huo Xuanfeng and others were shocked, Huang Guang's words echoed with laughter. As the space suddenly distorted, Huang Guang's figure emerged. However, he had just arrived at this manor when he saw a cold and familiar face. Medusa. The other party is the queen of the snake people, and he is the emperor of the great Qian dynasty, and they have fought against each other in recent years. He had entered the endless desert before and asked the other party if they were willing to surrender. As a result, this Queen Medusa had an extremely hot temper and started fighting with him without any nonsense. Not in the imperial city. Without the blessing of dynasty luck and imperial city formation, he would be at best tied with Queen Medusa. After the two sides broke up, he took the initiative to withdraw from the desert. I didn't expect you to break through to the Saint Realm. Hearing Huang Guang's exclamation, Qian glanced at Huang Guang and said indifferently, "It's all thanks to young master that I can take this step." Qian's words had just finished. Huang Guang took a deep breath at this moment, and then continued in a hurry. The Daqian royal family had grievances with the snake people before, but those were accumulated by the founding ancestors. As the emperor of the Great Qian dynasty, I am willing to resolve all grievances with the snake people. With that said, Huang Guang quickly took out a Nai ring from his body and presented it to Xiao Chen with a look of pain on his face. This ring contains 70% of the resources of Daqian's national treasury. I hope the queen and the young master will not dislike it. In addition, I can divide the 3 states of the Western Desert, which are close to the Endless Desert, under the management of the Snake people, so as to establish an alliance between the 2 races. The end of these words. Not only did Zikang, Ziling and others widen their eyes, but Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang also looked shocked. Just one sentence. The Daqian emperor was so frightened that he not only donated a lot of resources but also ceded territory. Is this Queen Medusa so terrifying? The Huo family is the backstage of the royal family. If Huang Guang is so willing to compromise, doesn't the Huo family not want to lose face? I will accept these resources on behalf of the young master. As for the ceding of land, we will avoid it for the time being. Seeing Huang Guang's nervous expression, Qian accepted Naji and said calmly, "You just need to decree. Let the strong men of the Great Qian dynasty not enter the Endless Desert without permission and cause conflict with the Snake people. As for the region, after I destroy the Sirius dynasty, I will slowly accept the territory there. The resources in the 3 states of the Great Qian dynasty's Western Desert are also quite poor. It's also filled with all kinds of strong mercenaries, so it's not an easy place to manage. If the Snake tribe wanted to expand, it would be better to occupy the Tianlong dynasty. The area over there, the resources are more abundant and more suitable for the Snake people. Overthrow the Sirius dynasty." After Huang Guang heard this sentence, he was also shocked by Kai Yan, and then reminded him with a solemn voice. Emperor Tianlong is a strong man who has entered the Saint Realm, and he has the support of the Hengshan Mo family. Emperor Tianlong has been killed by the young master, and of course he died with him. And an elder from the Mo family in Hengshan. Before Huang Guang finished speaking, he was lightly interrupted by Kai Yan. "What? You killed an elder of the Mo family in Hengshan?" After hearing Qian's words, Huang Guang was not shocked enough to make a sound, while Huo Xuanfang on the side had a look of disbelief. I couldn't help but scream out in surprise at this moment. What's the situation? This Mr. Xiao had a zombie monster, and he thought he had something to do with the Mo family. Did not expect. Now he heard that the other party killed the Mo family elders, but it was a little different from what he imagined. 46%. Chapter 224. The girl misunderstood, but you look a lot like an old friend of mine. I just killed a Mo family elder. Is there such a big fuss? Hearing this exclamation, Xiao Chen looked to the side and immediately saw a woman in red and an old man in red. The moment he saw the old man in red, Xiao Chen automatically filtered him. A strong man who has reached the 2nd level of sainthood. Although he is already considered a legend within the Great Qian dynasty, he is not worth mentioning in his eyes. But, when he saw the woman in red next to the old man, her exquisite and beautiful face contained a hint of charm, Xiao Chen couldn't help but show a hint of amazement. She turned out to be another stunning woman who was not inferior to Kai Yan, Marong Qingshe and others. And between their brows, there are Bai Suxin and Bai Sukin who are charming that only women from the Fox tribe can have. It made Xiao Chen's eyes light up, and he couldn't help but use the identification function. Huo Lingji. Originally just an ordinary woman from the Huo family, she unexpectedly acquired the inheritance of Huo Mei Venerable. Awakened the incomplete Tianxinhuo Mei body, and the talent was directly upgraded to saint-level supreme grade. But because this inheritance is incomplete, the complete Tianxinhuo Mei body cannot be awakened, and it will suffer from the backlash of the charm fire once a year. Once the primordial yin is broken by a man, all his cultivation will be lost. If the Tianxin fire body is fully awakened, you can have supreme level talents and unlock the fire body ability. With a frown, a smile, and a raise of the hand, a creature can be possessed by the charm, and finally die in a rage of burning desire. Following Huo Lingji's information, one by one appeared in front of her eyes. Xiao Chen's pupils couldn't help but shrink. If you are not fully awakened, your talent will reach the saint level supreme grade. If you are fully awakened, you can reach the supreme level. Unexpectedly, this new beauty appeared in front of me. Not only was she stunningly beautiful, she was also extremely talented. This is my first time meeting you, young master. Don't you think it's a little rude to stare at him like this? He was stared at by Xiao Chen. Huo Lingji felt as if she had been stripped naked and stood in front of Xiao Chen. Every hair on her body could be seen clearly, and there was almost no privacy left on her body. This made her heart tremble. Immediately, he spoke softly, and a kind of charming feeling escaped from him. But her heart was extremely heavy. If her secret is seen through, she will be in catastrophe if it is revealed. Young lady, you misunderstood. It's just that you look a lot like an old friend of mine, that's why Xiao feels a little lost. Xiao Chen's face didn't turn red when he heard this. He coughed dryly and then explained with a smile. But at this time, Xiao Chen also felt a little emotional. As his cultivation level increases, the level of contact becomes more advanced. The woman who appeared in his life was not only outstanding in appearance and figure, but her talent was also getting stronger and stronger. Unimaginable. If he leaves the barren land of the eastern wasteland in the future, he will encounter the empress or empress casually. After all, his luck has never diminished. Master, is there anything special about her? Kaiyan has been following Xiao Chen for some time, so she naturally knows that Xiao Chen is not an empty-headed young man who can't move his eyes when he sees a woman. Therefore, there must be something special about the woman in front of me. Just with her current cultivation level. Apart from being able to see through the opponent's cultivation, there is nothing special about him. She has supreme qualifications. Xiao Chen smiled lightly when he heard this and said something to Kai Yan. Kaiyan couldn't help but shrink her pupils immediately. In the past, Murong Qingshe had already shocked her with her Saint King appearance. Did not expect. In just over a month, I unexpectedly met a woman with supreme looks. Afterwards, my mind was full of confusion, so I wanted to take a bath to calm down. Unexpectedly, in a trance, I seemed to see Sister Lu Shen, and the next moment I realized it was an illusion. It is a blessing for this little girl to look like the young master's old friend. After hearing Xiao Chen's vague explanation, although Huo Lingji didn't believe it at this time, she could only follow what the other party meant. Didn't ask too much. By the way, I forgot to introduce. The little girl is Huo Lingji, a disciple of Dongyuan Huo family, and this is Huo Xuanfang, the 11th elder of Huo family. I heard that the young master can heal the injuries of other people's meridians and dantian, so we specially waited here and prepared to invite the young master to the Huo family to treat our head's injuries. As for the reward, when the young master arrives at Dongyuan Huo's house, our head will give you a generous gift. It seemed that he wanted to divert Xiao Chen's attention and prevent her secrets from being mentioned. After Huo Lingji smiled lightly, she went straight to the point and invited. I just ignored it. She didn't believe it before. Ha ha ha, Miss Huo Lingji, the young master is tired from traveling, so he can't be in a hurry. How about letting the young master rest in the Chamber of Commerce for one night and then leave for the Dongyuan Huo family tomorrow? Hearing that Huo Lingji didn't follow the routine, she took the initiative to mention healing before they could introduce her. Zikang and Huang Guang were both a little anxious, and the former even risked his life on the spot and spoke a few words of advice at this time. They had prepared resources and items and were preparing to ask Xiao Chen to take action. If Xiao Chen had just arrived here and followed Huo Lingji to Huo's house, wouldn't they have been waiting in vain these days? Well, I will stay at the Xian Chamber of Commerce for one night. Let's make plans for the Huo family tomorrow. Before Huo Lingji could say anything, Xiao Chen spoke calmly at this moment. The words fell. The faces of Zikang, Huang Guang and others were filled with ecstasy, and their eyes couldn't help but twinkle. Huo Lingji was slightly startled when she heard this, but she didn't say anything at this time. Just a faint smile. As for Huo Xuanfang, the 11th elder of the Huo family originally wanted to show off his momentum. Let Xiao Chen know what kind of existence the Dongyuan Huo family is. However, after hearing Kaiyan accidentally mention that a group of them killed the elders of the Mo family, Huo Xuanfang did not dare to say anything at this time. Not to mention the terrifying two-headed demon dragon puppet, the cold and charming woman in front of him could completely crush him as an elder. What's more, anyone who dares to travel in a saint-rank chariot must have a terrifying background behind them. It's completely irrational to put on airs with the other person. Sir, the Chamber of Commerce has arranged the courtyard, so I will ask my roommate to take you. Ahem. After his eyes flickered, Zikang immediately said with a smile. But that's half the story. His breath was disordered, as if an old injury had exploded, and he couldn't help but cough violently. This made Zi Luo, Zi Ling and others' expressions change, and they thought something was wrong with Zikang's body. Puff. Next moment, just when Zi Ling and Zi Luo were about to ask, Zikang suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face became as pale as paper. President, brother, father. Seeing this unexpected situation, Zixuan, Ziling, and Ziluo were all shocked. Zikang has always been quite strong, so how could he suddenly cough up blood? When Xiao Chen saw this scene, his eyes could not help but condense slightly, and his expression became a little strange. Ahem, cough, sorry. An old injury suddenly resurfaced, which frightened the young master. Seeing Xiao Chen's expression looking a little weird, Zikang felt a little guilty and quickly took off a ring from his hand. This old injury and illness has been bothering me for many years, and the young master just happens to be able to cure old injuries and illness. I wonder if I can ask the young master to help me heal my old injuries. Then, ahem, a little cleaning of the marrow and pulse. I am willing to give up all my wealth, and I hope that the young master can help. 47%. Chapter 225 Young Master, I have a hidden illness and feel like I'm going to die. Hiss. This old guy, it turned out to be this plan. After hearing Zikang's words, Zixuan and others' faces twitched. They thought something was really wrong with Zikang, but they didn't expect that the old fox had this plan. Since your old injury and hidden disease are so serious, I will help you treat it. Seeing Zikang's eager eyes and the naji that was quickly placed on his face, Xiao Chen smiled lightly at this time. As the president of the Xian Chamber of Commerce, he must be extremely wealthy. The resources and items in this ring are worth more than 1,000,000 points at least. Really, I received the naji at Xiao Chen. After his soul thought penetrated inside, the piles of various resources and items also came into his mind at this time. Not counting the tens of millions of spiritual crystals inside, those heavenly and earthly treasures alone are worth more than 1,000,000 points. Just help others repair and upgrade, and you can earn more than 1,000,000 points. Now the points are getting easier and easier to earn. Relax and don't resist. After being satisfied with this gift, Xiao Chen immediately showed off his cultivation and then pointed at Zikang. With a burst of white light shining, Xiao Chen consumed more than 190,000 points. Not only did he help Zikang repair old injuries and hidden diseases, but he also upgraded his talent to saint-level supreme grade. A powerful aura rose into the sky in an instant. Zikang's cultivation has already reached the 9th level of heaven and human realm. He has accumulated enough in this realm and has some understanding of the laws of heaven and earth. At this time, with the help of the transformation of body and talent, the cultivation level directly broke through that layer of barriers, and officially entered the saint realm at this moment. Ha ha ha, I have become a saint. I never thought that I, Zikang, would be able to enter this realm in my lifetime. Young master is so virtuous. I feel that my cultivation has made a qualitative leap, just like a fish jumping over a dragon's gate, stepping into a new world. Zikang couldn't help laughing wildly. There was also a roar and explosion in the sky above the imperial city, and thunderclouds kept coming from all around. You are still here playing ball, get out of the imperial city. Transcending tribulation. If the thunder tribulation chi machine is locked here, even if you break through to the saint realm, I can press you to the ground and rub you. Seeing Zikang's wild smile, Huang Guang felt extremely unbalanced, so he went up and kicked Zikang. Unexpectedly, after he broke through and entered the saint realm, the second strong man in Dakian Imperial City to become a saint would be an old guy named Zikang. It seems that in the future, the Dakian royal family must have good relations with the Xian Chamber of Commerce. Sir, let me go to the thunder tribulation, and then I'll have a big banquet when I come back. Zikang didn't pay attention to Huang Guang's little moves, but instead said to Xiao Chen in high spirits. As long as he survives the thunder tribulation of heaven and earth. From now on, even Huang Guang, the emperor, is qualified to be an equal. Xian Chamber of Commerce, stand up. After the words fell, Zikang's figure turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the distant sky. In the blink of an eye, you create a strong man who enters the saint realm. Seeing what happened in front of them, Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang were dumbfounded. To know how to become a saint. This is a huge difficulty among the 7 dynasties of the Eastern Wasteland, enough to make 99% of the celestial human realm experts feel extremely desperate. But now, the young man in front of me just clicked casually. Let a strong person in the 9th level of heaven and human realm directly break through to the level of saint realm. Isn't this too outrageous? In other words, if this young man is willing, wouldn't he be able to create saint realm strong men in batches? Think of this. Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang's pupils shrank violently, and they both felt a biting chill. Rao is from the Huo family. Today, there are more than a dozen strong people entering Saint Realm, which is an achievement accumulated over thousands of years. And now, but there is someone who can raise his hand to create a strong person in and out of Saint Realm. If you give the other party a little time, wouldn't it be possible to overwhelm the entire Eastern Wasteland? After a ridiculous night, I returned home the next day and found that Medusa was not there. I lay down and fell asleep. When I woke up, I seemed to see Sister Lu Shen again. Puff. Just when Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang felt horrified and shocked. Zixuan, the great elder of the Chamber of Commerce, spat out a mouthful of blood at this moment, and his face instantly turned pale as paper. Sir, the president's momentum when he broke through the Saint Realm just now was too strong. My excitement caused old wounds in my body. Can you help me with my treatment and do a little marrow cleansing and vein cutting? After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Zixuan looked at Xiao Chen sincerely, and then offered the ring very smoothly. Seeing Zixuan imitate Zikang, Xiao Chen couldn't help but feel a little speechless, but he didn't refuse. Seeing that you are so thoughtful, I will take action again. After putting away the ring in front of him, Xiao Chen didn't hesitate at all and raised his hand to condense the rune points towards Zixuan. Next moment, as the white light shone, Xiao Chen also spent hundreds of thousands of points to help Zixuan repair his hidden injuries and upgrade his talents. Zixuan seemed to be more than 10 years younger, and his cultivation level had broken through to the 9th level of heaven and man. Ha ha ha, the hidden wounds and old diseases in the body have indeed disappeared. Mr. Xiao is really a rare miracle doctor in the world. I feel that my cultivation has improved to a small level, and I will be qualified to enter the Saint Realm in the future. Zixuan was so excited that he laughed wildly, and then bowed down to Xiao Chen. The wealth that has been secretly accumulated over the years can be exchanged for an improvement in cultivation and the qualification to enter the Saint Realm. It was definitely earned with blood for him. Puff. Seeing Zixuan becoming the second beneficiary after Zikang, the other elders of Zion Chamber of Commerce also spewed blood. All of them turned pale and took off the ring very quickly. Sir, my old injury has also resurfaced. Sir, I have a hidden illness and I feel like I'm going to die soon. Sir, I just looked at the president one more time, and the meridians in my body couldn't bear it and exploded. I hope you can treat me, this old guy. Several celestial human realm elders, each one more shameless than the other. They came to Xiao Chen one after another and directly took out all their wealth, just asking Xiao Chen to take action once. Looking at these old guys in front of him, Xiao Chen was a little speechless, but he was still very happy. Everyone is rushing to send him resources. If he refuses, his mind will be a little abnormal. Line up and come one by one. After this order was given, Xiao Chen accepted several Na rings in less than half a quarter of an hour. I helped several people repair and improve it. Such a shocking scene had already made Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang numb. No, the senior leaders of Zion Chamber of Commerce have all been blessed by young master, and their strength will definitely soar in the future. If our Dakion royal family doesn't take some countermeasures, these millions of miles will belong to the Zion Chamber of Commerce. When Xiao Chen took action for several people, Huang Guang took a deep breath and disappeared into the manor. In less than half a quarter of an hour, Huang Guang forcibly brought several people. These people, they are his personal old eunuch and several imperial commanders. Of course, there is also the dying ancestor of the royal family, and the two most talented among the many descendants of the royal family. Later, at Huang Guang's request, all the net worth of several people was confiscated. Only then did Xiao Chen help a few people repair hidden illnesses and improve their talents. In less than half an hour, Xiao Chen's points balance soared to 20 million. And what surprised him was, in the fortune donated by one of the commanders of the Imperial Guard, he found the treasure he had been looking for all this time. Bright Moon Spiritual Heart Grass. A heavenly rank spiritual material that can only be born in a place where the power of moonlight gathers. Although this spiritual material was somewhat damaged, Xiao Chen was able to completely repair it and transform its grade. And with this spiritual material, coupled with his upgraded quality, Yunxi has hope of awakening his bloodline. 47%. Chapter 226. When you think about it privately, you can come and see me. Sir, can you help me heal my old wounds and illnesses? While Xiao Chen's thoughts were turning, Huo Xuanfang couldn't help but ask after hesitating for a while. In just half an hour. After Huo Xuanfang saw Xiao Chen's incredible methods, he was so shocked that he was convinced by this young master. Among the powerful medical practitioners he knew, no one could compare with Xiao Chen for this miraculous healing ability. So Huo Xuanfang fully believed that Xiao Chen could cure Huo Tianshang. And, if the Huo family can please Xiao Chen this time, their overall strength may skyrocket by several levels. You want treatment too? After hearing Huo Xuanfang's inquiry, Xiao Chen looked at him in surprise. As you enter the Saint Realm, your body has undergone qualitative changes under the baptism of thunder tribulation. It's more difficult than them to treat old wounds and hidden diseases. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, Huo Xuanfang frowned and asked hesitantly. Young master, what you mean is, there is no way to treat me? No, I just want to say that the price you have to pay for treatment is a little higher than theirs. Xiao Chen waved his hand when he heard this and answered very straightforwardly. As soon as these words came out, Huo Xuanfang was stunned. Could it be that Xiao Chen wanted his entire net worth? To know, he is a strong man in the Saint Realm, the 11th elder of the Huo family. The net worth accumulated over thousands of years, even if he squanders some from time to time, is still much richer than Huang Guang and others. He originally wanted to use part of his net worth in exchange for Xiao Chen taking action. Did not expect, Xiao Chen actually wanted him to bleed heavily. As long as the young master can help me repair my injuries and help me wash my marrow and cut my pulse, it doesn't matter if I give up all my wealth. After struggling for a while, Huo Xuanfang immediately took off the ring. He presented it to Xiao Chen with a respectful look. If you give up, you will gain. You are quite good. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up slightly when he heard this, and he immediately accepted the ring. Then Xiao Chen followed suit, after consuming 230,000 points. He helped Huo Xuanfang repair old injuries and hidden diseases, and directly upgraded his talent from Saint-level low grade to Saint-level supreme grade. The strong men of the Huo family are indeed the fat sheep. The soul thought was absorbed into the ring. Looking at the many heavenly rank treasures inside, there are even several saint rank elixirs, which are worth millions of points at least. A satisfied smile appeared on Xiao Chen's face. A Saint Realm elder can bring him millions of points if he harvests all the powerful men of the Huo family. How many tens of millions of points must be recorded in the account? Too fat. After harvesting the Dongyuan Huo family. Next, I can lie down in the arms of Kaiyan and others, and let me get drunk and sleepy for a while. Incredible. Simply incredible. Young master is really a god. When Xiao Chen imagined the future, Huo Xuanfang felt the changes in his body, and his whole body could not help but tremble with excitement. Not only were all the old injuries and hidden diseases recovered, but even the talents were improved. With his current talent and family skills, as long as he doesn't die unexpectedly in the future, he will be able to cultivate to the 9th level of sainthood. How many years? Even the 3 major hidden families. There are not many strong people who can cultivate to such a level. A large part of the reason is that they are limited by their talents, and their bodies have hidden wounds left in many fights. And now, he just paid some resources to gain the qualification to become a transcendent level powerhouse. What a deal. Does Miss Huo Lingji also want to be repaired? After putting away the ring, he saw Huo Lingji looking at him brilliantly. Xiao Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly and asked with a slight smile. Young master is joking. I don't have any old wounds or illnesses, so I won't bother you for the time being. Huo Lingji smiled charmingly when she heard this and answered softly. She has a secret, and her physique is very special, so she doesn't dare to let Xiao Chen come into contact with her. If Xiao Chen notices something strange, she might be targeted by the other party. Yeah, Xiao Chen smiled faintly when he heard this, and then said via Junyuan. Your physique is very special, but somewhat incomplete. Don't want to restore your complete physique and let your talents reach the supreme level? Boom. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huo Lingji's pupils shrank sharply, and there was a roar in her mind. He looked at Xiao Chen with a somewhat horrified look. turn out to be. The feeling of nakedness before was not that she had an illusion, but that she had really been seen through. Who is this young master in front of me? Her physique was concealed by her inheritance, and even Huo Tianshang, the head of the Huo family, could not see through her cover. I didn't expect. She had been in contact with Xiao Chen for less than half an hour, but the other party had already seen through her secrets. Well, I feel like I should have a picture of Huo Lingji, so I'll tell a short story first. Don't be too alarmed, I mean no harm. If you want to awaken the complete Tianxin fire body and unlock the complete supreme level inheritance. When you think about it privately, you can come over to see me. Of course, there is a price to pay, and it is up to you to decide. I will not threaten you. Seeing that Huo Lingji's pupils shrank slightly, as if she was frightened by him, Xiao Chen could only send a message to show that he meant no harm. A woman with a face and figure that could be called supreme grade, a supreme grade hidden talent, and a special physique. If it can be one, it will be another big help in the future. Well, anyway, he took a fancy to the other person's talent and ability, not because Tianxin Huo Mei body is a supreme grade furnace and has the ability to make the other person want to die during sex. After saying these few words, Xiao Chen asked Ziling and Zi Luo to arrange the rooms, intending to organize and recycle the resources they had just obtained. Lingji, what happened? Seeing Huo Lingji looking in a trance. Staring at Xiao Chen's leaving back, Huo Xuanfeng asked with some confusion at this time. Huo Lingji's talent. He is the top among the Huo family, and if he is trained well in the future, he can also become a Saint Realm powerhouse. So, the senior leaders of the Huo family were not only afraid that something might happen to Huo Lingji, but they were also worried that she would run away with the man. The current Mr. Xiao is so outstanding, if Huo Lingji suddenly sees him right, then there will be trouble. No, Mr. Xiao just said that the technique I practice is rather special and may damage the meridians in the future. If I feel anything unusual, I can just come over and see him. Hearing Huo Xuanfeng's words, Huo Lingji quickly averted her eyes and replied calmly. But her heart became very uneasy. After obtaining the inherited awakening Tianxinhuo Mei body, she tried every means to fully awaken. Because she was unable to fully awaken the heavenly heart fire Mei body, she was not eligible to obtain the complete supreme inheritance. Even if you unfortunately lose your virginity, your cultivation will be reduced to nothing. This has always been a worry for her. After all, she can cut off the relationship and not have any ambiguity with the man. But everything has its surprises. She is so beautiful, has such a hot figure, and her demeanor is charming. If she encounters a strong person in the future who becomes more animalistic, her end will be very tragic after she loses her body. 47%. Chapter 227. When you wake up next time, the young master will continue to feed you. Phew, finally the sorting and recycling is completed. In the luxurious wing, Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Then open the properties panel and check the points balance. Host, Xiao Chen. Physique, innate Tao body, the soul of enlightenment. Cultivation, universal truth 3rd level. Skills, the art of creating the universe, the art of fusion of spirits and subduing the gods. Divine ability, heavenly demon shadowless step, great wild true dragon fist, 5 elements heaven shaking seal, 9 turn golden body cover, 5 elements killing technique, emperor's royal household technique. Points, 22,858,235. I'm almost close to reaching 23 million points. This wave of coming to Dakian Imperial City is really profitable. Looking at the series of numbers on the property panel, even Xiao Chen couldn't help but be shocked. Even after he retained most of the precious materials and only recycled some low-level and unused items, the total points actually soared to more than 20 million. It was quite beyond his expectation. My cultivation level has improved too rapidly now, even though I have a strong foundation to back it up. But if there is not enough time to adapt and settle, it will still have a great impact on future practice. It seems that we can only upgrade the martial arts divine ability first, so that the combat power of the same level can be stronger. When the thought falls, without any hesitation, Xiao Chen issued instructions to the system to upgrade several divine ability martial arts to Saint King Supreme Grade. After all, system points cannot directly improve his cultivation. He can only help him become stronger by upgrading foreign objects. And his current cultivation level can be said to be acquired through cultivation. Although this kind of improvement seems very evil. But there are also huge disadvantages. After all, it is not a result of cultivation, and the foundation of cultivation will easily collapse. In the early stage, I have innate Tao body and Emperor level skills to back me up, so there won't be any major problems with my cultivation for the time being. But as the level of cultivation increases, this shortcoming will become more and more obvious, and even Xiao Chen will no longer have to polish his foundation. After upgrading all his martial arts divine ability, Xiao Chen looked at the other people in the room. Immediately afterwards, a large amount of points were spent to upgrade the talents of Xiaomire and others to the Saint King level. And each person is also equipped with an inner armor that has entered the Saint level Supreme grade, a flying treasure that has entered the Saint level Supreme grade, and an offensive holy weapon that has entered the Saint level Supreme grade. Of course, it's not that Xiao Chen is stingy and unwilling to upgrade to the Saint King level. But the cultivation of these people is not enough, and it is difficult for them to adapt to the treasures that enter the Saint level. Not to mention Saint King level treasures. Without the corresponding cultivation level, even if you hold the Emperor weapon, you can't activate it. There is a chance that the treasure will suck all the true energy out of him and he will die. After some operations, Xiao Chen's points instantly shrank by more than 9 million, but the group's background increased several times. Looking at Xiaomire and others in the wing, each holding the treasure in their hands, their faces showed joy. There was a hint of disappointment on Yun Zai's pretty face. She has not yet awakened her bloodline and has no cultivation at all. Let alone saint-level treasures, even some mysterious weapons, she couldn't use. Of all the young master's women, she is the most useless. You little girl, you are thinking wildly again. Seeing that Yun Shi looked a little disappointed, Xiao Chen reached out and scratched the other person's nose, then touched his head and said with a doting look on his face. Do not think too much. The young master has found spiritual materials that contain the power of the moon. As long as you accumulate enough, you will be able to awaken the blood in your body. What? After hearing Xiao Chen's words, not only Yun Shi was surprised, but Kai Yan and others also looked over. Heavenly materials and earthly treasures containing the essence of the sun and moon are as rare as soul treasures. They can only be conceived by chance in a specific environment. I thought it would take some more time to find it, but I didn't expect to find it just a few days after coming out. We got lucky. I didn't expect that such a rare treasure of heaven and earth would appear among the personal belongings of a commander of the Forbidden Army. Seeing the surprised looks on several people's faces, Xiao Chen took out the bright moon spiritual heart grass. One exudes a faint silvery sheen. The strange grass surrounding it seemed to be shrouded in moonlight, and it was also floating on Xiao Chen's right hand at this moment. What a beautiful grass, like a grass elf in the dark night. Looking at the bright moon spiritual heart grass in front of them, Kai Dai, Xiaolinger and others exclaimed. Yun Shi stared directly at this spiritual material. When the bright moon spiritual heart grass appeared, she couldn't help but feel the urge to swallow it in her mouth. As long as she eats this bright moon spiritual heart grass, she can gain a lot of benefits. The quality of this Haoyu Lingxin grass reaches heavenly rank supreme grade. Although the rhizome is somewhat damaged. Seeing the expressions of amazement on several people's faces, Xiao Chen explained with a slight smile. But before he finished speaking, he saw Yun Shi opening her small mouth. He bit directly at the Haoyu spiritual heart grass, as if he wanted to swallow it in one gulp. You little girl, you can't eat it now. Seeing Yun Zai's monkey bite him in a hurry, Xiao Chen quickly retracted his right hand and raised his left hand to block Yun Zai's mouth. This is a unique copy. If a little girl like Yun Shi eats it, how should he slice it, repair it, and copy it? Master, why don't you give it to me? Yun Shi let go of Xiao Chen's fingers, couldn't help but licked her lips, and asked with an aggrieved look. Girl, if you feed it now, your bloodline awakening will be delayed. Rubbing the back of the other person's head, Xiao Chen ordered the system to repair the bright moon spiritual heart grass, and then cut it into dozens of parts with an explosion of true energy. Only one of the fragments was later preserved, and it was again ordered to be restored to its entirety. Here, you can eat it now if you want. Seeing the eager look on Yun Zai's face, Xiao Chen handed the Haoyu spiritual heart grass to him. And Yun Shi didn't ask. What was Xiao Chen doing just now? He only knew that Xiao Chen could let her eat it, and then she could taste the spiritual grass. As the Haoyu spirit heart grass was swallowed by Yun Shi, Yun Zai's body also exuded a faint silver light. After rubbing my eyes, I realized that it was not Sister Lu Shen, but classmate Medusa. She had dyed her hair black and asked me aggressively why I stayed out all night last night. Master, I suddenly feel so sleepy. He felt the medicinal power of the Haoyulingxin grass spread out in his body, and was constantly being swallowed and absorbed by the bloodline of the wild blood demon Cloud Rabbit. A kind of sleepiness also came over, making Yunxi a little sleepy. Go to sleep if you feel sleepy. When you wake up next time, Master will continue to feed you. Xiao Chen patted Yun Zai's head lovingly, and then let the other person fall gently into his arms. Sir, when Yunxi wakes up next time, he still can't awaken his bloodline. After hearing Xiao Chen's last words, Murong Qingshe asked doubtfully. The bloodline in Yun Zai's body has reached the emperor level. The power of the moonlight contained in a bright moon spiritual heart grass cannot fully awaken the bloodline in the opponent. Xiao Chen smiled lightly when he heard this. According to his estimate, in order for Yunxi to fully awaken his bloodline, he would have to let the opponent take several strains of the Haoyu spiritual heart grass above saint level. Now give the opponent heavenly rank level. It's just to let the opponent's physique and blood adapt to it, and then the dosage can be increased after the blood gradually recovers. This takes some time, but that's fine. Lu Ruoxian should be out of seclusion by then, and his cultivation has returned to the 9th level of Saint King. Even if Yun Zai's bloodline awakens and attracts the other party's tribe, he also has the confidence to deal with it. Since Yunxi is asleep, I will take her to the next room first. Qingshe and Su Xin.it seems that they haven't spent time with the young master for several days. Now that you have time, young master, let's have a good chat. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, Kaiyan came over and picked up Yunxi, and said to Murong Qingshe and others. Sister, I also want to stay. Hearing Kai Yan's 2 words, Kai Dai's eyes suddenly lit up and she said a little embarrassed. Shut up, you want to take advantage of everything, don't others have to eat meat? Before Kai Dai finished speaking, she was kicked by Kai Yan. Then he could only follow out aggrievedly. Xiao Meyer, Michelle Yeoh and others did not say anything at this time and followed them out in perfect agreement. They have been nourished in the past few days, and it is time for others to suffer the rain and dew. Murong Qingshe, Bai Suxin, and Bai Sukin looked at each other. His face gradually turned red at this moment. 47%. Chapter 228. Even if there are many beauties around the young master, I will follow him wholeheartedly. If you don't let me get involved, then I'll wait and watch the battle. After walking out of the door, Kai Dai murmured in a low voice. A hint of blush appeared on her face, but she was still slightly irritated. If you dare to run around later, do you think I will beat you? As if sensing Kai Dai's little thoughts, Kai Yan paused at this moment and glanced at Kai Dai with a warning look. Then he waved his hand and deployed a powerful barrier, directly covering the wing where Xiao Chen was. Recently, after absorbing the remaining beast fire energy in the body, Kaiyan's cultivation level has broken through to the 6th level of sainthood. Although it is still a bit vain at the moment, it is much better than Kai Dai. Seeing this true energy barrier at this time, Kai Dai's face suddenly collapsed. Damn sister, she was so defensive about her, so she remembered it first. The next time she gets a chance, she will definitely vent her anger. Where's the young master? On the other side, when Xiao Chen was going crazy with 3 kills, Zikang also successfully survived the thunder tribulation. The figure appeared in the courtyard. Seeing that Xiao Chen and others were no longer in the manor, only Ziling and Ziluo were looking at the flowers and plants in a daze. This made Zikang couldn't help but be stunned. Young master has gone back to rest. He probably won't be able to get away now. After hearing Zikang's words, Ziluo looked a little strange and said in a meaningful voice. Just now, they were about to talk to Xiao Chen, but they saw Kaiyan and others coming out of the room and waving their hands to set up a powerful barrier. 3 of the women did not come out, so they knew what would happen next. Rest. Zikang was slightly stunned when he heard this, and looked towards the back of the manor. One of the rooms was filled with terrifying enchantment fluctuations. He also woke up immediately. It seems that the young master is still a sweetheart. After sighing, Ziling looked a little disappointed, and Ziluo's face was also a little complicated. As Zikang's thoughts turned around, he also figured out something. Do you think the young master is a little amorous? After giving a faint smile, Zikang asked. But before Ziling and Ziluo could answer, Zikang paused and then said to himself. In this world, the strong are respected. The better and more powerful a person is, the more resources, higher status, and more partners he will have. And the young master will have so many women following him, which only proves that he is extremely outstanding and extraordinary. As he spoke, Zikang glanced at Ziling and Ziluo, and his voice became a little louder at this time. However, even though the young master seems to be a little sentimental, he does not always give up, or even favors anyone. Among those women, some are very weak in cultivation. There is even one who has no cultivation at all. According to the young master's current identity and status, the help these women can provide to him can basically be said to be dispensable. But I look at the young master. It doesn't matter whether they can be of any help to me just because their cultivation levels are different. Whether it will even become a burden to him, he feels alienated and indifferent to these women. On the contrary, everyone is treated equally, with pampering and respect in their eyes. No amount of strong men can do this. So, although the young master is a bit sentimental, he will never let down any woman. Perhaps that's why those women are willing to follow the young master. And you too, both have some thoughts about the young master. If you want to capture the young master, you must accept the other beauties around him, and learn to get along with them, without engaging in intrigue. If you can't accept it and plan to find a dedicated person, this is also your choice. But from my point of view, Mr. Xiao is indeed a man who can be entrusted to him for life. If he misses it, he may regret it for the rest of his life. Looking at the two women in front of him, one is his biological sister and the other is his biological daughter. The only person in the world who can make him have such thoughts is Xiao Chen. Certainly, because of the existence of that oath, Ziling will follow Xiao Chen to a large extent. What he said was, to a greater extent, meant for Ziluo. Brother is right. As long as you love me, we will never let each other down. Even if there are many beauties around the young master, I will follow him wholeheartedly. Not long after Zikang finished speaking, Ziling seemed to have figured something out, and the disappointment on his face disappeared instantly. Ziluo, come with my sister-in-law for a walk. After saying that, Ziling took Ziluo's hand and walked towards the pavilion of the manor. Xiao Chen cured her Dantian defects and helped her awaken her saint-ranked constitution, making him the right man in her life. If she feels disappointed because there are so many beauties around her, it's a little bit ungrateful. Sister-in-law, the young master can't get away now, how can we go over and disturb him? Hearing Ziling pull her away after saying this, Ziluo's face couldn't help but blush, and she spoke helplessly. Even if you want to commit yourself, you have to find a time. Isn't it a bit ridiculous to go with my aunt and nephew? What are you thinking? Ziling's face turned red when she heard this, and she turned around and rolled her eyes angrily. Why do you want me to go find Mr. Xiao now? I see you are usually very smart, why have you become stupid now? If you want to stay with the young master, it's not enough just to please him, you also have to have good dealings with other people. So now, we should go visit that Queen Medusa first. After saying that, Ziling took Ziluo and went to visit Kai Yan and others. When Zikang saw this, a look of relief appeared on his face. If these two people can truly grasp Xiao Chen, they may have hope of getting out of the eastern wasteland and reaching a wider world. Zion Chamber of Commerce. The future is promising. Facing classmate Medusa's questioning, I confessed that I had made a mistake. Watching classmate Medusa run out crying, and then looking at the photo of her proposing to me, my heart ached. Night. The moonlight enveloped the entire Dakion Imperial City, and the entire Imperial City was still bustling with activity. During this period, Huang Guang brought several of the most beautiful princesses with him and wanted to visit Xiao Chen, but was turned down by Zikang. This made Huang Guang so angry that he almost wanted to flip the table over. But I learned, Xiao Chen was having an in-depth exchange with several beauties, and Huang Guang felt it was inappropriate to disturb them, so he had to go back with the princesses first. This made Zikang feel a little sad. He didn't expect that the Dakion Emperor had the same idea as him. Unfortunately, Ziluo knew Xiao Chen first, so she gave them a head start. As the night gets darker, Xiao Chen's door, which had been closed for a long time, was slowly pushed open at this moment. Tisk, 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 you guys look good. It seems that only when it is moistened by nectar can this flower bloom more vividly. Seeing Murong Qingshe and others walking out with rosy faces, Xiaomeier couldn't help but make a joke. In particular, the two sisters Bai Suxin and Bai Sukin had both transformed into fox forms at this time, with their tails not only shiny but also wagging behind their buttocks. He looked obviously in a good mood, so Xiaomeier and others couldn't help but want to touch it. Why are you all standing outside the door? Seeing Xiaomeier, Xiaoling Michelle Yeoh and others there, Murong Qingshe, Bai Suxin and others turned red. He asked suddenly embarrassed. I originally wanted to see if there was any chance I could be a substitute. But the two of them want to visit Xiao Chen's stinky brother, so we'll hold off for now and bring them here first. After hearing Murong Qingshui's words, Xiao Meier curled her lips and said. Only then did Murong Qingshe, Bai Suxin and others appear, and there were two purple figures still hidden in the crowd. Both of them were blushing with embarrassment, their eyes were a little evasive, and they looked very embarrassed. 47%. Chapter 229. We happen to have food here, so we dare to come in and offer it to the young master. Miss Ziling, and Miss Ziluo. Seeing these two people in front of me. Although Murong Qingshe, Bai Suxin and others felt a little surprised, they were somewhat expected. After all, the charm of the young master is so terrifying that it is normal for a woman to want to fly into the flames. Don't be embarrassed, just go in. Whether you can grasp Xiao Chen's stinky brother depends on how you two behave next. Looking at Ziling and Ziluo, two strong business women, they were as shy as children at this moment. Xiao Meier spoke at this time. Although she is not worried, Xiao Chen will abandon some of them if there are more and more beauties around him. After all, this stinky brother is not a heartless person. But, the more beauties around the other party, the more personal space will be squeezed. If you want to squeeze the other party's time, it will be greatly reduced. However, when Ziling and Ziluo visited them, their attitudes were very frank. Even Kaiyan, the eldest sister, nodded after thinking for a moment, intending to give these two people a chance. Therefore, although Xiao Meier and others are a little helpless, they will not object. Then we'll go in. Hear these two sentences. Ziling and Ziluo took a deep breath, and after calming down their nervousness, they also walked into the side room. Qingshe, I'm a little hungry, help me order a meal. Xiao Chen was soaking in the bathtub. When he felt someone walking in, he spoke softly. But the next moment, heard the door being closed. Xiao Chen turned his head and saw that behind the bead curtain, it turned out to be Ziling and Ziluo. He looked slightly startled. Why are you two? Looking at these two stunning beauties with long purple hair, impeccable looks and figures, and strong business abilities. Xiao Chen asked in surprise. Murong Qingshe, Bai Suxin and others had just walked out when Ziling and Ziluo walked in unexpectedly. Is this negotiated? Could it be possible that these two people? Hear Xiao Chen's inquiry. When Ziling and Ziluo saw each other soaking in the bathtub, their faces turned red. After the former paused for a moment, he immediately blushed and said. I just heard the young master saying that he was hungry. We happened to have food here, so we boldly came in and offered it to the young master. Sending food. Xiao Chen couldn't help but look a little weird when he heard this, and then asked something meaningful. I don't know what kind of delicious food it is. I need you two beauties to deliver it to my wing in person. After saying these words, Ziling and Ziluo's faces were so red that they were about to bleed. Then he mustered up the courage to say, actually, it's not a rare delicacy, it's just our Z family's specialty. Mushroom sauce rice bowl. Mushroom sauce rice bowl. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned when he heard this, and then the corners of his mouth curved. Well, there are pictures. Let's enjoy Ziling's beautiful pictures and pause for a moment to follow the short story. In another wing room, Huo Lingji suddenly fell to the ground with a painful expression, and a strange red flame emerged from her body. She was left curled up on the ground, her clothes turned into ashes, and the ground was burned black. Damn it, why is this year's backlash so early? Feeling the charming fire burning inside her body, she couldn't help but tremble all over. A strong burning sensation, accompanied by a special feeling, surged from the lower abdomen to the mind. It made her feel like a drug addict getting sick, she could only tremble and curl up on the ground. Charming fire backfires. This is caused by the incomplete Tianxinwo Mei body. Ever since she unexpectedly awakened her physique at the age of 12, she has had to endure this backlash every year. Every attack. Not only will it make her feel a terrible burning sensation, it will even amplify her physical needs infinitely. It made her feel like there were hundreds of millions of ants crawling all over her body. I wish someone, well, I can't say. In the past, this thought was not very strong, and she could get over it by enduring it. But this time the backlash was stronger than before. Even because her mood today was disturbed by Xiao Chen. At this time, as the charm fire burned her back, Xiao Chen's figure kept appearing in her mind. I can't help but think of being raped by Xiao Chen. Well, I still can't say. This made Huo Lingji look pained. Damn it, why did I keep thinking of that man, bastard? This young man who killed 1,000 swords, why did he say those things to me, which made my mood completely broken? Curling up on the ground and shaking constantly, Huo Lingji's face turned red and she said with gritted teeth. Even his teeth couldn't help but chatter. If it weren't for the few words Xiao Chen said that disturbed her mood and made her think wildly. Even thinking of some kind of unwanted desire, Charming Fire would not take the opportunity to bite her back this time. After all, it's hard not to think wrongly about what Xiao Chen said. She could go to the other party to repair her physique, but she would have to pay a certain price, and she would also have to go to the other party in private. And she has a stunning face and a killer figure, making her a very special supreme grade model. Isn't the other party hinting that he wants to commit himself to her? She has been thinking wildly since she came back. In the entanglement, I fantasized about the worst outcome, but inadvertently aroused desire. As a result, Charming Fire took the opportunity to backfire on itself, which is why we are experiencing what we are experiencing now. If not, the backlash of her charm this year should be in 2 months. In pain, Huo Lingji quickly took out an icy blue pill from the ring and took it, then she concentrated on suppressing the backlash. Over time, the desire in her mind gradually faded away, and the charming fire was suppressed by her. The next day, as the door was opened again, Xiao Chen also walked out of the room. Have to say, this specialty of Zygia tastes really great. Not only the appearance is very unique, but the taste and texture are also very good, which makes people forget to come back. It gave him a good appetite last night. Even though he was a little tired before, he still worked hard all night. And this time, perhaps it was because both of them had relatively low cultivation levels. Even though Ziling had the special purple spirit holy vein, it only helped him improve his cultivation level a little. It is not enough to break through to the 4th level of universal truth. However, the foundation of his cultivation has become stronger. This was an unexpected surprise. Mr. Xiao, your face is quite rosy early in the morning. It seems that you slept well last night. Not long after Xiao Chen walked out, Huo Lingji also walked over from the corridor and spoke in a faint voice. This made Xiao Chen a little confused. Very early in the morning. Why did this woman suddenly act like a harem, as if he had stripped her naked and thrown her into a latrine last night? In doubt, Xiao Chen couldn't help but look at Huo Lingji, making her feel uncomfortable. I see. After checking it, Xiao Chen's lips curled up. My master did sleep well last night, but Miss Huo Lingji was tortured. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huo Lingji's pupils shrank slightly and she looked at Xiao Chen in horror. He could even tell that she had suffered backlash last night. This young man was a little too scary, wasn't he? 148%. Chapter 230. Since you already have the answer in your mind, why bother asking more questions? Lingji, I wonder what the young master is talking about. Seeing other people coming in the corridor, Huo Lingji's eyes flickered slightly and she replied with a vague smile. When Xiao Chen heard this, he just smiled lightly and did not mention the other party's little secret. Master Xiao, since you had a good rest last night, I wonder, can we leave for the Huo family? After taking a deep breath and suppressing all the distracting thoughts in her heart, Huo Lingji asked politely. Well, okay. Xiao Chen nodded upon hearing this and did not refuse the proposal. It just so happened that he also wanted to finish harvesting the Huo family quickly, and then return to the Xiao family in Luyun City to lie down comfortably for a while. Master, are you leaving in a hurry? After hearing the conversation between Xiao Chen and Huo Lingji, Ziling and Zi Luo walked out of the room. There was a bit of reluctance in his expression. These two people actually came out of his room together. When Huo Lingji saw Ziling and Zi Luo walking out with rosy and shy faces, she was a little dumbfounded at this moment. These two women, if I remember correctly, they seemed to be an aunt and nephew, and yesterday, they were not Xiao Chen's beauty. But this morning, they walked out of Xiao Chen's room together. This means, last night, these two people .fk. Crazy, right? What kind of medicine did this young man give them to make two beauties so shameless? No, their cultivation levels have all broken through. When the mind is turning, Huo Lingji noticed the aura of cultivation between the two, and her expression changed again at this moment. Previously, Zi Luo's cultivation was at the 1st level of Grotto Heaven, but now she has broken through to the 3rd level of Grotto Heaven. And Ziling's cultivation is at the 1st level of Zondan, and now he has broken through to the 4th level of Zondan. What kind of tonic did these two people take, and their cultivation levels improved so much? Well, there's nothing else to do now, so let's just go to Huo's house and take a walk. If you two want to go, you can come along and have a look. Ignoring Huo Lingji's shock, Xiao Chen looked at the two beauties and said softly. We won't go to the Huo family for now. The Chamber of Commerce still has some matters to deal with. The two of us will stay at the Xian Chamber of Commerce to help the young master collect more resources and items, and auction off some of the elixirs in stock. Zi Ling and Zi Luo shook their heads when they heard this, thought for a moment and then replied with a smile. They followed to Huo's house. It was just a visit, so it couldn't help Xiao Chen at all. It would be better to stay in the Xian Chamber of Commerce, use your business skills, and help Xiao Chen collect more resources. Anyway, with the space array, Xiao Chen can come at any time. So, instead of sticking around Xiao Chen and accomplishing nothing, it is better to show your own value and contribute more to Xiao Chen. Okay, then you just stay in the Xian Chamber of Commerce and call me if anything happens. When Xiao Chen heard this, he didn't force it, he just said with a smile. Anyway, if he wanted to return to Xian Chamber of Commerce, it would only be a teleportation time, which was no different from visiting the back garden. And Xian Chamber of Commerce. There is also Zikang, a strong person who has entered the Saint Realm, and the safety of the two of them can be guaranteed. Next, after explaining to Zikang, Zixuan and others, Xiao Chen took Kayan and the others and galloped towards the Dongyuan Huo family. Damn it, where is the young master? Leaving so soon. Seeing the double-headed magic dragon chariot soaring into the sky from the Xian Chamber of Commerce, Huang Guang quickly left the morning meeting halfway and rushed to the Xian Chamber of Commerce in a hurry. As a result, only the double-headed dragon chariot was seen disappearing into the distant sky. Huang Guang was dumbfounded by this. Old man, did you neglect the young master? Why did the young master leave so early in the morning? After being stunned for a moment, Huang Guangde roared loudly. His precious princesses were not given to Xiao Chen as maids, but the other party left in a hurry. Who should this wishful thinking be thrown in the face? Your Majesty Qianwang, the young master left because of the invitation of the Huo family. Otherwise, you will take your anger out on the Dongyuan Huo family. Seeing the aggrieved look on Huang Guang's face, Zikang coughed dryly and said calmly. This sentence fell. Huang Guang was momentarily speechless, and in the end he could only leave with an aggrieved look. But in my heart, I kept in mind that next time Xiao Chen comes, he will definitely let the other party have a good time. Just take Xiao Chen to visit the backyard of Daqian Palace, and you can choose any concubine or princess you like. In my heartache, I saw another photo of my classmate Medusa. She once dreamed of becoming a stewardess, but she gave up in order to marry me. Now it's time to be free. Sir, may I take the liberty to ask, who are you? While Kayan and others were resting in the wing, Xiao Chen stood on the stand of the palace pavilion and blew some air. Huo Lingji came over and asked at this time. This young master is not a saint, he is just a lucky mountain boy. Xiao Chen smiled lightly when he heard this, without any arrogance on his face. If it weren't for the transmigrator and the system, he wouldn't be able to live as well as he does now. Maybe some long Aoshan will step on the ground, shouting with an aggrieved face. 30 years in Hedong, 30 years in Hexi, don't bully young people into poverty. Single quote. Then he was killed by the opponent the next moment. So Xiao Chen knows his position very well. Without Goldfinger, he would not even be as good as an average strong person. Young master is joking. If you are lucky, a mountain boy, I'm afraid there won't be any evil geniuses in the eastern wasteland. Huo Lingji smiled lightly when she heard this, obviously thinking that Xiao Chen was being modest. When Xiao Chen heard this, he just smiled noncommittally, and then continued to look at the vast world. Master Xiao, I want to ask, if you can repair my physique, I wonder, what price will I have to pay? I saw Xiao Chen's eyes wandering, always looking at the scenery in front of him. After Huo Lingji struggled for a while, she gritted her teeth and asked. The words Xiao Chen said were too tempting to her. She has been trying to awaken her body to no avail, and she is suffering from the backlash of the charming fire every year, and she even has to live in fear every day. She was afraid that some strong animal would forcefully take away her primordial yin, causing her to lose all her cultivation and become a useless person. Because in the Huo family, she had felt this kind of gaze before, such as the great elder of the Huo family, and the many strong men in that lineage. Each and every one of them had looked at her greedily and lustfully. If it weren't for the fact that she was a disciple of the third elder of the Huo family, and her talent was high enough, she would be taken seriously. Before Huo Tianshang and her master were defeated, the elder of the Huo family did not dare to do anything to her. Otherwise, she might now be secretly imprisoned and become a tool for those animals to vent their desires. Certainly, it is also possible that her current cultivation level is too low, so she has a special physique, and the tonic effect is relatively weak. That's why those people with ulterior motives held back and did not attack her. Only when she is fully mature will she be harvested. Since you already have the answer in your mind, why do you need to ask more questions? After hearing Huo Lingji's question, Xiao Chen's lips curved up and he spoke straightforwardly at this moment. Your physique is very advanced, and the cost of repairing it is not small. And what you can give me, in addition to the supreme inheritance in you, the other one is you Huo Lingji. 48%. Chapter 231. Do you want to whet my appetite and make me your licking dog? Hearing Xiao Chen's unabashed words, Huo Lingji felt a roar in her mind, and she looked at Xiao Chen with shame and surprise. There were already so many stunning beauties around him, but he still focused on her. Sure enough, there are not many men in the world who are not lewd. Although she didn't show it on the surface, she was already being rubbed against her inside. Don't be so surprised. Seeing Huo Lingji feeling ashamed and angry, her expression and posture became even more attractive. Xiao Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said without any scruples. Men have food, sex, and their nature. You are an extremely rare beauty. As long as a man with normal functions is basically unfazed by you. And I am a very possessive man. If I have nothing to do with you, I can laugh it off no matter who you fall in love with or follow. But what if I spent a lot of money to let your flower bloom in its most beautiful glory, but in the end it was picked away by another person? It's a little uncomfortable to think about it. These few sentences are so realistic, but also very reasonable. No normal man would treat an unrelated woman. After cultivating very good people, they eventually gave them up to others. If so, then this man must have a very noble self-green spirit. But it's a pity that Xiao Chen didn't. After Huo Lingji heard Xiao Chen's words, her breathing became a little rapid and her chest heaved greatly. Speaking so nakedly in front of a beautiful woman. What is the difference between this young master Xiao and those dandy young masters? Don't worry, what I like is your mutual consent, so I won't use this to force you. Seeing that Huo Lingji's face was red with anger and she looked even more beautiful, Xiao Chen smiled lightly and continued. The fate of your life is still in your hands, and how you choose your future path is all in your mind. Sir, we have only known each other not long ago, and we don't understand each other yet. It's better. How about we start as friends first and then slowly get to know each other better? Huo Lingji's expression changed when she heard this. Then he let out a chuckle, then walked up to Xiao Chen and said in a charming voice. That kind of charming attitude only comes from people with poor concentration. I guess I will be confused. It's a pity that Xiao Chen has seen too many stunning beauties and is not easily distracted by them. You want to whet my appetite and let me be your licking dog. Hearing Huo Lingji's words, Xiao Chen was not moved at all and said with a slight smile. I don't need friends. Also, rather than understanding things slowly and deeply, I prefer to get there in one step. We won't arrive at Dongyuan Huo's house until early tomorrow morning. We may stay at Huo's house for a day or two. You can think carefully during this period. Finished. Xiao Chen turned around and walked into the palace pavilion, leaving Huo Lingji blushing with anger. Damn it, this young man who kills 1,000 people doesn't give anyone any room. After Xiao Chen disappeared into the corridor of the pavilion, Huo Lingji was so angry that her teeth almost broke. Let her think about it. How can this be considered? On the one hand, I have been searching to no avail, unable to fully awaken my physique, and have to be on tenterhooks all day long. On the other side is, you can fully awaken easily and have strong support. It's like taking a person to the edge of a cliff and telling him there are only two ways to go. One is to jump down and sink in the darkness. The other is that you can get what you want from the other party. Isn't this an obvious one-way choice? Damn guy. He looks elegant, but he is full of evil thoughts. This young master who has killed 1,000 swordsmen, am I really going to obey him? But I've only known him for less than 2 days, how can I let him be at his mercy from now on, or even change into the other person's shape? Think of this. Huo Lingji's breathing became more and more rapid, and her expression became more and more ashamed. But, this guy has all the bad intentions aside. Not only is he unparalleled in appearance, his talent is terrifying, and his methods are also very mysterious. Think about it from another angle. In fact, there is nothing wrong with obeying the other party. Damn it, why would I have such a thought? After suppressing the absurd thoughts in her heart, Huo Lingji felt her cheeks getting hot, and then walked into the palace pavilion. After I broke up with my classmate Medusa, I went out to relax. Unexpectedly, I met my childhood sweetheart in elementary school and my first love. Sister Zuner. She was actually single. The next day, Dongyuan Huojia, accompanied by a burst of dragon roars that echoed between heaven and earth, the two-headed demon dragon pulled a huge chariot to the palace. Also appeared in this void. What a rich spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Is this the Dongyuan Huo family? Looking ahead, the Dongyuan Huojia is surrounded by clouds and mist and located in the huge mountains, just like the blessed land of Grotto Heaven. Kayan and others stood on the pavilion stand and couldn't help but marvel at this moment. Before she actually entered Dongyuan Huo's home, she could feel that the aura of heaven and earth was several times richer than the endless desert. And here, it's just the outermost part of the Dongyuan Huo family. Unimaginable. In the Dongyuan Huo family's true cultivation place, how rich is the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. There is a saint-level spiritual vein suppressed below the Huo family, so the spiritual energy here is stronger than the outside world. After hearing the exclamations of Kayan and others, Huo Xuanfeng said with a somewhat proud expression. Look at the entire eastern wasteland. Saint-rank spiritual veins are extremely rare and can be counted in one slap. The Huo family can monopolize one, which is due to luck and strength. Mr. Xiao, I have already informed the head of the family of your arrival. However, the head of the family was in seclusion to heal his wounds. It should take a while before he can come out. Let's go in and rest for a while. After casually mentioning the rich heritage of the Huo family, Huo Xuanfeng said to Xiao Chen respectfully. That's fine. Xiao Chen smiled faintly when he heard this, and looked at the Dongyuan Huo family, with a strange color flashing in his eyes. Such a majestic building and a nest like the Grotto Heaven are undoubtedly indicating one thing. That is, come and kill me, I'm too fat. At this time, it would be great if there was someone who didn't have any brains and jumped out to block the way. While thinking about how to harvest the Huo family, Xiao Chen couldn't help but muttered at this moment. If you want to obtain greater benefits, you must establish stronger prestige. Now the 5 elements undead corpse puppets cultivation has broken through to the second level of Saint King, and can almost sweep the 3 major families of the eastern wasteland. Certainly, only if the old monster Saint King behind these hidden families doesn't take action. It is now known that behind the Mohist family in Hengshan, there is a strong Saint King named Corpse Ancestor. The Dongyuan Huo family, one of the 3 major hidden families in the eastern wasteland, should also have the old geek of the Saint King hidden behind them. But even if there is, as long as he doesn't break up, the other party still needs something from him, so he can only be passive. Who in front of you dares to break into my Dongyuan Huo family? Just when Xiao Chen's thoughts emerged, a voice suddenly exploded. A young man and 2 old men suddenly floated into the air from the Huo family mountain gate, and a terrifying momentum swept away. That menacing posture immediately made Xiao Chen's eyes freeze. Did not expect. There really is someone looking for trouble. Is there someone in the Dongyuan Huo family who doesn't want the head of the Huo family to be cured? As the thought fell, Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows slightly and looked at the person blocking the road. 48%. Chapter 232. Are you sure you are here to stir up conflicts, not to seek death? Floating in front. He is a young man with a cold and arrogant face, wearing a red and gold mysterious clothes. This person was Huo Fengming, who had appeared once in Xi'an Chamber of Commerce. He is also the great-grandson of the eldest elder of the Huo family. The 2 old men beside Huo Fengming each exuded a terrifying aura, and their cultivation levels were even higher than entering the Saint Realm. Interesting, even the strong men who entered the Saint Realm came to stop him. It seems that this is not a brainless move by a playboy disciple. There are really people who don't want this family master to be good. The moment he saw these 3 people, Xiao Chen immediately understood something. If only one young master comes out to block it, then it is possible that the other party has no brains in this matter. But the older generation of Saint Realm experts have lived for hundreds or thousands of years. You can't possibly throw your brain away, right? Huo Fengming. After seeing the young master in front of her, Huo Lingji couldn't help but frown. They invited Xiao Chen to Huo's house, but they had notified Huo Tianshang. These guys actually dare to come and stop me. Is it possible? Is it the instruction of the great elder Huo Yao? Huo Mingwei, Huo Tianmeng. Young Master Xiao is a distinguished guest who has come to heal the head of the family. What do you two mean by stopping here? After the two-headed demon dragon puppet roared to a halt, Huo Xuanfeng ignored Huo Fengming and focused his eyes on the two old men. He said in a low voice, "The two people in front of me are both members of the great elder's lineage. A man who has reached the 3rd level of sainthood, ranks 10th among the elders of the Huo family, and is even stronger than him. Another one has reached the 5th level of sainthood and is ranked 7th among the elders of the Huo family. He is much stronger than him, the 11th elder." Haha, the card was pulled by a zombie monster that entered Saint Realm. How can I be sure that the so-called distinguished guest you mentioned is a craftsman sent by the Mo family in Hengshan? After hearing Huo Xuanfeng's words, Huo Tianmeng glanced at the two-headed demon dragon puppet solemnly, and then replied in a somewhat solemn voice. Yesterday Huo Fengming reported. The informant he planted in Daqian Imperial City learned that Huo Lingji had found a strange person in Daqian Imperial City and planned to come to treat Huo Tianshang's injuries. Huo Yao then ordered them to wait here and be sure to prevent the other party from entering Huo's house as a guest. Even if you can't completely break up, you still have to have some conflicts with the other party. This way, this strange man who came to treat Huo Tianshang's injuries must not have a good impression on the Huo family. Maybe they will break up unhappy because of this, and their goal will be achieved. But the two of them never expected that this strange man who came to Huo's house as a guest would actually have a saint-ranked chariot to travel to the palace. And it still uses a demon dragon corpse puppet as a cart slave. All over the world, look at the entire eastern wasteland. In addition to the Hengshan Mohists, which other force can pull the cart with the corpse puppet of Saint Realm? As far as they knew, there wasn't one. Therefore, now it gives them a chance to find trouble, and they still stand at the highest point of safeguarding the interests of the Huo family. After a brief chat, I found out that Zuner's sister had been thinking about me in the past few years after she transferred to another school in the 2nd year of junior high school. Now she came to me specifically to renew her first love with me. Old Chi, the young master is a distinguished guest that we finally met. How can we conclude that the young master is a member of the Mo family just because of a zombie monster? What's more, young master had killed the elders of the Mo family in the endless desert. After Huo Tianmeng finished speaking, Huo Xuanfeng said in a low voice. These two sentences, Huo Mingwei and Huo Tianmeng's pupils shrank slightly. But there was no panic on their faces, but a sneer on their faces. Haha, he said. He killed the elders of the Mo family, do you believe this is true? Hearing Huo Xuanfeng's words, Huo Tianmeng couldn't help but sneered. If he is really sent by the Mo family, once he enters our Huo family. If the Mo family in Hengshan wants to harm our Huo family, wait until many powerful people arrive and suddenly come together to cooperate inside and outside. Can you afford this kind of consequences? You. Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfeng couldn't help but change their expressions after hearing this. This hat is really clever, and it is actually related to the safety of the Huo family. Interesting. Xiao Chen stood on the pavilion stand, raising his hand to signal Qian and others not to move rashly. His eyes swept over Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei, and he asked with some meaningful words. This young master was invited to the Huo family as a guest, but you suspect that we are a trickster. I don't know what I want you to do, how can you all dispel your doubts? These two sentences obviously did not contain any murderous intention, but after listening to them, Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfeng felt a chill in their hearts for some unknown reason. It was as if the Xiao Chen in front of me was the god of death who was about to resurrect. Huo Mingwei and Huo Tianmeng felt uneasy when they heard Xiao Chen's calm words. He couldn't help but frown, and didn't answer in a hurry. Instead, they looked at each other, preparing to secretly communicate and discuss with each other. After all, this young master could remain so calm in the face of their difficulties. It doesn't look like a simple character. But, just when the two of them were preparing to communicate and discuss, Huo Fengming finally found a chance to interrupt. At this time, he looked at Xiao Chen with a frivolous expression and said, "It's actually a very simple thing to dispel our suspicions. As long as you are honest, let us suppress this demon dragon corpse puppet and leave this chariot palace to our custody. Then let me help you search your body to see if there are any marks of the Hengshan Mo family on your body. If not, you are innocent, but if there is, the Huo family does not allow you to come and leave whenever you want. After saying this with a wild smile on his face, Huo Fengming glanced at Kaiyan and the others with a lustful look. Oh shit, this unknown young master actually has so many beauties around him. Every one of them is supreme grade that is no less inferior to this little bitch like Huo Lingji. The task given to him by his great-grandfather was to anger this strange man and intensify the conflict between him and the Huo family. If he seizes the other party's chariot and palace, and then searches his woman in front of the other party, this conflict should be intensified enough, right? I have to seize the chariot and go to the palace, and have you guys search me to prove your innocence. Hearing Huo Fengming's shameless words, Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the young master with cold eyes. You guys, are you sure you are here to stir up conflicts, not to seek death? As the last words fell, Xiao Chen watched Huo Fengming look at his woman lustfully, and a fierce murderous intention escaped from him. Sir, please don't be impulsive, let us solve it. As if he felt the murderous intention on Xiao Chen's body, Huo Xuanfang's expression couldn't help but change, and he spoke with some anxiety at this moment. But before he finished speaking, Xiao Chen suddenly raised his hand and said, If you two can't do it, let them do it. As these words fell, Kaiyan's eyes flashed with cold light, and her figure blurred and disappeared in the pavilion. A majestic murderous intention swept across in an instant. How dare you take action? As expected, he is from the Mo family in Hengshan. Seeing the Kai smoke machine locking onto Huo Fengming, his figure blurred and disappeared in an instant. Huo Tianming and Huo Mingwei shouted loudly, and their cultivation levels exploded at this moment. 48%. Chapter 233 This elder will use their humble bodies to give birth to new heirs for my lineage. But right now. Xiao Chen looked at all the movements of the two of them and then snapped his fingers. The two-headed dragon puppet roared at this time, and all the chains on his body were released and disconnected. When the terrifying pressure of entering the 5th level of sainthood swept across like a storm, the two-headed demon dragon puppet twisted directly into the void, and its figure instantly appeared in front of Huo Tianming. The dragon's claws were condensed with monstrous black flames, and they shot at the fierce opponent. Even in this moment, Kai Dai, who was originally standing next to Kai Yan, was half a beat too slow to react before bursting out with her cultivation. The shadow of the 8-colored sky-swallowing python appeared behind him, and he raised his hand to suppress Huo Mingwei. Although her personality is a bit dull and naive, she grew up in the snake tribe. Since she was a child, she, like Kaiyan, had learned some necessary fighting skills and the law of the jungle. So at this time, seeing her sister's merciless attack, Kai Dai didn't hold back at this moment. Her cultivation level can only reach the 2nd level of sainthood. There is no way to fight against Huo Tianming, a strong person who has reached the 5th level of sainthood, but with the mutated blood of the sky-swallowing python, he can suppress Huo Mingwei, a strong person who has reached the 3rd level of sainthood. Still more than enough. In an instant, as several people collided and fought, the roar shook the world. The terrifying true energy impact also swept away. Huo Fengming, a playboy, was reduced to ashes by Kaiyan's palm before he even had time to scream. You actually killed Fengming. After Huo Tianming and Huo Mingwei resisted the blows of the two-headed demon dragon puppet and Kai Dai, they couldn't help but roll back as the void collapsed, and they let out incredible roars. The great-grandson of the dignified elder of the Huo family was actually above the gate of the Huo family. Let someone kill him with one move. Even if the two of them were in the presence of the Saint Realm elders, they could not stop the other party from violently killing people. This is simply a slap in the face. Humiliation. Trample. It's over, now we have to make enemies. When Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang saw this, they were completely dumbfounded at this moment. The eldest elder wanted to send someone here to provoke a conflict. He probably wanted to provoke Xiao Chen into falling out, so that the other party would break up with the Huo family. I didn't expect. Mr. Huo Fengming is really mean-mouthed. Even if he wants to take advantage of someone else's chariot palace, he actually wants to take advantage of women like Mr. Xiao. It's good now. The young master killed decisively, but Huo Fengming opened his mouth and sent himself away. Enemy attack. Where are all the elders of the Huo family? Why don't you come out quickly to meet the enemy? When Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang were at a loss, the roars of Huo Tianming and Huo Mingwei echoed throughout the world at this moment. This made both Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfang change their expressions. If other elders of the Huo family heard the news and came over, this conflict would turn into a big war. Kayan raised her head with a cold face when she heard this, and rushed directly towards Huo Mingwei with an explosion of cultivation. 8 colored flames swept across the void. Then he pulled out the Saint-level Supreme Grade's red flame black sword, and a sword light also slashed down at Huo Mingwei. Huo Xuanfeng, you are still watching, do you want to betray the Huo family? Huo Mingwei barely parried Kai Dai's attack, but in the blink of an eye he saw Kai Yan coming with a sword and slashing at her. The soul was almost scared out of its wits. He could only burst out his cultivation crazily, and the red flames kept sweeping across the void, and he used his holy soldiers to block this move. Young master, you can't kill them. After hearing Huo Mingwei's roar, Huo Xuanfeng also looked anxious and immediately pleaded to Xiao Chen. Killing Huo Fengming is just killing a junior. The relationship between Xiao Chen and the Huo family may be able to ease. But if the 2 Saint Realm elders of the Huo family are killed, the situation will become difficult to ease. Boom. Xiao Chen was not moved at all by Huo Xuanfeng's words. He just looked ahead calmly. Amidst the deafening roar, the void in front collapsed once again. Although Huo Mingwei is a strong person who has entered the Saint Realm, his cultivation is only in the 3rd level of the Saint Realm. At this time, they faced the joint attack of the 2 sisters Kai Yan and Kai Dai. After just one confrontation, they were forcefully blasted away by the 2 of them, and a deep cut to the bone was cut in their chests. The holy blood poured down into the void. Old 10. Seeing Huo Mingwei being hit hard by a sword and falling into the void, Huo Tianmeng couldn't help crying out in grief at this moment. But he just finished shouting. The 2-headed demon dragon swung its tail like a divine dragon, and the dragon's tail swept across the void like a heavy sword, carrying terrifying power and blasting towards Huo Tianmeng. In a hurry, Huo Tianmeng had no time to dodge, so he could only use his cultivation to force the attack. Both of them are at the 5th level of Saint level, but the body of the 2-headed dragon puppet is so powerful that it is almost comparable to the Supreme Grade Saint level Saint soldier. At this moment, a metallic roar burst out from Huo Tianmeng's wrist. Certainly, there was also a sudden explosion of the sacred bone in Huo Tianmeng's wrist, making a cracking sound like fried beans. The 2 arms were twisted by the terrifying force, and then they hit him on the chest, causing Huo Tianmeng to spurt out a large mouthful of blood. His figure was also like a cannonball, hitting the mountain gate of the Huo family below. I didn't expect that Sister Zuner has been waiting for me. Unfortunately, I am already married, but Sister Zuner said that she doesn't mind, as long as she can be with me, it doesn't matter if she doesn't have a status. Who the hell are you? How dare you hurt our elders from the Fire family? When Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei fell, a roar echoed in the void. An old man with red hair, exuding a terrifying aura, like a god of fire. At this moment, he led the other 2 old men, tearing apart the space and arriving in front of the mountain gate. This person, he was the eldest elder of the Huo family, Huo Yao, and Huo Fengming's great-grandfather. A strong man who has reached the 8th level of sainthood and can break through to the 9th level at any time. He is also the 2nd strongest among the elders of Dongyuan Fire Clan. The other 2 old men who appeared with Huo Yao were Huo Heng, the 4th elder of the Huo family, who had reached the 7th level of sainthood. The other one is the 6th elder of the Huo family, Wotong, who has the cultivation level to reach the 6th level of sainthood. After the 3 of them arrived together, then he waved his hand and burst out a burst of true energy to support Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei, and the terrifying holy power swept through the world like a tsunami. Great Elder, they daughter members of the Mo family in Hengshan. We just wanted to verify their identities, but they killed Feng Ming indiscriminately. After being picked up by Huo Yao and others, Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei spurted out blood and roared with hatred and rage. As an elder of the Saint realm of the Fire family, they haven't been injured for many years, but they didn't expect that today. In less than 10 breaths, the 2 of them would be seriously injured. Still in front of his own door, it is simply a shame and humiliation. What? Feng Ming is dead. After hearing the words of Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei, Huo Yao raised his head in disbelief. From the moment they noticed the movement to the time they rushed over, it only took a few breaths. His great-grandson, who was the most talented, died at his doorstep under the protection of 2 strong men who entered the Saint realm. The remnants of the Mo family dare to kill my grandson and hurt my elder Huo family. Every one of you will die today. Feeling furious and unbelievable in his heart, Huo Yao suddenly raised his head, and murderous intent exploded into the sky. Get them. That corpse puppet was cut into thousands of pieces, and those 2 women captured them alive and then processed them. This elder will use their humble bodies to give birth to children of my lineage. 48%. Chapter 234. Don't be nervous, I'm here with good intentions. As the words echoed and fell, Huo Yao raised his head with a ferocious expression, his eyes locked on Kai Yan. The next moment, the space was twisted and torn, and the figure exploded towards the colorful smoke. On this woman's body, he sensed Huo Fengming's bloodline aura. Obviously, this is some of the bloody aura left on Huo Fengming after he was killed by the opponent at close range. Those who have reached the 6th level of Saint Realm dare to kill his great-grandson. If he didn't let this woman surrender under his body today, how could he have the dignity to continue to be the great elder of the Huo family? The moment Huo Yao's figure rushed out, Huo Heng and Huo Tong also rushed out with a ferocious smile. The fire horizontal air machine locked on the two-headed dragon puppet, while the fire ventilator locked on Kai Dai. The three strong men entering Saint Realm broke out. An endless wave of fire was set off directly in the void, and the terrifying pressure swept across like an overwhelming mountain. When Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfeng saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically at this moment. Once the war breaks out, both sides will definitely suffer losses. They just wanted Xiao Chen to come over and help Huo Tianshang heal his injuries. How could the situation evolve into this in such a short period of time? Oh, you want my young master's woman to give you an heir? Have the guts. Seeing Huo Yao and others rushing towards Kai Yan and Kai Dai, Xiao Chen looked at the scene in front of him indifferently, with a cruel curve at the corner of his mouth. Boom. Next moment, there was almost no warning. When Xiao Chen's last two words came out, the void in front of Huo Yao and others exploded like a mirror. Huo Yao et al. I just felt that the void in front of me seemed to be frozen. An indescribable terrifying pressure came down like a collapse of the sky. One was over a foot tall, with colorful hair all over his body, like a demon-like figure. It also appeared in front of them out of thin air. Saint King. Feeling this kind of terrifying pressure is far beyond the 9th level of sainthood. Huo Yao's pupils almost burst out of his eye sockets in horror, and his figure wanted to retreat violently as his expression changed dramatically. But his figure just stopped. The 5 elements undead corpse puppet raised his right hand and pinched Huo Yao's neck as if penetrating space. The terrifying power of the 5 elements of death was immediately suppressed on Huo Yao. It's like holding a dead dog with a broken spine, holding the opponent casually in midair. This sudden scene, not only did it scare Huo Yao, Huo Heng and others out of their wits. Even Huo Lingji and Huo Xuanfeng, Huo Tianshang, who had just arrived from the Huo family, and several other elders were also stunned. This is actually a Saint King level corpse puppet. Could it be that the other party is the corpse ancestor of the Mo family in Hengshan? Sir, no matter who you are, our Huo family is protected by Senior Sheng Luan, who is a Saint King level expert. Feeling that the true energy in the body is suppressed, it is difficult for the body to move at this time. There was a hint of panic on Huo Yao's face, and his voice was a bit harsh. But, facing Huo Yao's roar, the 5 elements undead corpse puppet couldn't understand it at all, and just glanced at it with bloodthirsty eyes. If Xiao Chen hadn't let him capture the opponent alive, it would have torn Huo Yao into pieces long ago. After seeing my hesitation, Sister Zuner said she was going to work as a maid in my house. She didn't ask for any status, she just wanted to take care of my daily life. This made me a little confused. Behind the Huo family.is there really a strong Saint King. After hearing Huo Yao's roar, Xiao Chen just smiled indifferently, without any intention on his face. Senior Shengluan, this sounds like he is not the ancestor of the Huo family, so there is nothing to worry about. Generally this kind of guardian. Except when the guardian's forces are at stake, they will not show up unless absolutely necessary. After thinking about this, Xiao Chen flew down from the pavilion and landed next to Huo Yao. You just said that you want my young master's woman to give you an heir. Looking at the eldest elder of the Huo family, Xiao Chen said indifferently. Then, when Huo Yao looked over, he was about to say something. Xiao Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly, then snapped his fingers, and a command was passed into the mind of the 5 elements undead corpse puppet. Roar. The 5 elements undead corpse puppet suddenly roared, and kicked out its huge foot at this moment, kicking hard between Huo Yao's legs. Along with the sound of Kun eggs exploding, a cloud of blood mist also exploded from Huo Yao's body. Huo Yao, a strong man who had entered the 8th level of the saint, could not help but let out a shrill roar at this moment. Huo Heng and Huo Tong on the side, as well as many strong men from the Huo family not far away, all felt a chill at this moment. Such a brutal kick. Not only did he directly kick Huo Yao's kunkan, but his pelvis was even shattered. Just because when Huo Yao was furious, he said something that humiliated his woman. Now that he has suffered such torture, this young master is truly cruel. Okay, let's send them on their way. Seeing Huo Yao screaming like a slaughtered pig, Xiao Chen felt a little relieved, and then said to the 5 elements undead corpse. No, Senior Shengluan, save us. Hearing Xiao Chen pronounce their fate, Huo Yao, Huo Heng and others couldn't help shouting. Sir, please show mercy. The expressions of Huo Xuanfeng, Huo Lingji, Huo Tianshang and others all changed dramatically. At this moment, he couldn't help but plead for mercy. But just as their words came out, the 5 elements undead corpse puppet roared, and the power of the 5 elements undead exploded. Huo Yao, Huo Heng, and Huo Tong are the 3 strong men who entered Saint Realm. As the space was crushed by the 5 elements undead corpse puppet, the body and holy soul were also crushed into blood mist. Next moment, the 5 elements undead corpse puppet opened its mouth and took a breath. All the flesh and blood essence of these people was swallowed up, causing the undead aura on its body to rise steadily. This scene, seeing Huo Xuanfeng, Huo Tianshang and others, their faces couldn't help but turn a little pale. In just a few moments, the Huo family unexpectedly lost 3 strong men who entered the Saint Realm. By the way, there are also those 2 old guys, let's send them on their way too. Xiao Chen ignored the shock of Huo Tianshang and others, and looked at Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei not far away. Issued instructions to the 5 elements undead corpse puppet. No, master, save us quickly. After hearing Xiao Chen's cold words, Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei suddenly felt like they were dead. Without any hesitation, the 2 of them burst into cultivation and rushed towards the Huo family. But just as they rushed out, the words had not yet dissipated. The 5 elements undead corpse puppet had collapsed into the void and descended in front of them. There aren't any fancy divine ability skills, just the crushing of realms. The 5 elements undead corpse puppet raised his left and right hands and pressed them on the 2 people in an instant. Under destructive force, Huo Tianmeng and Huo Mingwei had no ability to resist at all, and were crushed into 2 balls of blood mist by the 5 elements undead corpse puppet. Then it was ruthlessly swallowed into the mouth, leaving only the storage ring and the holy weapon. After the 5 elements corpse puppet devoured the 5 powerful men who entered the Saint Realm, the undead aura on its body broke through the barrier in a surge, and its cultivation level also entered the Saint King's 3rd level at this moment. The terrifying aura made Huo Tianshang and others turn pale. A corpse puppet in the Saint King realm. If the other party wanted to destroy the Huo family next, they would have to wake up Senior Sheng Luan who was sleeping deep in the earth's veins. Otherwise, their group would have no resistance at all. Don't be nervous. I came with good intentions, but I didn't want to destroy your Huo family. When Huo Tianshang and his party were trembling, they were preparing to fight to the death with Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen put away the najis and holy weapons of Huo Yao and others, then looked at Huo Tianshang and others and said with a smile. 49%. Chapter 235. The tone instantly became so respectful. Is this guy being controlled? Coming with good intentions? After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huo Tianshang and many elders' faces twitched violently. In less than a quarter of an hour, the 5 elders of the Huo family were killed. What the hell do you mean coming with good intentions? If he came with malicious intentions, wouldn't the Huo family be gone? I won't offend anyone unless they offend me. I have always valued peace. Unless someone steps on me and bullies me, I am quite kind. Seeing the faces of Huo Tianshang and others twitching continuously, Xiao Chen just continued speaking calmly. I was invited to Huo's house, but so many people showed up. Not only do you want to rob my young master's chariot and palace, but you also want to insult my young master's woman in front of me. Obviously, not only do they not want you, the head of the family, to get better, they also want to cause your Huo family to suffer disaster. For this kind of family cancer, I help your Huo family eliminate it, which can be regarded as helping you solve the hidden danger. This should be considered a good deed, right? As these words fell, the void fell into deathly silence. Huo Tianshang's face kept twitching. Although he really wanted to swear, his reason still allowed him to hold back. Although Huo Yao and others are black sheep and want to make life difficult for him, the head of the family. But this is all an internal dispute within the Huo family. After all, these people are also high-level figures in the Huo family, and they are the mainstay among the top powerhouses in the Huo family. To die like this in the hands of outsiders was a huge blow to the Huo family. Even one can't do it well. Once the other two hidden families find out, they will definitely take this opportunity to attack the Huo family. By then, even if the Huo family is not destroyed, it will suffer extremely heavy losses. The three major dynasty areas are estimated to be gone. You don't have to look so sad, isn't it just a cancer that killed a few people in Saint Realm? As long as I help you break through to the Saint King realm, the Huo family will still be the head of the three hidden families. Seeing Huo Tianshang and others' faces turned red from holding back, they wanted to yell at him, but they didn't have the courage to speak. Xiao Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said in a low voice. As soon as these words came out, Huo Tianshang's eyes widened and the others were shocked. Saint King Realm. This is the highest combat power known to Dongwang. Although behind the 7 great dynasties of the Eastern Wasteland and the 3 great hidden families, there is a Saint King Realm powerhouse. But as far as they know, these 3 Saint Kings are all from the Eastern domain. Unless they are forced to do so, none of the 3 Saint Kings will take action. So, for so many years, the competition between the 3 major hidden families in the Eastern Wasteland only depends on the strength of each family, which is always maintained at a certain balance point. If it is among the 3 major families, if a strong man from this family breaks through to Saint King, this balanced situation will also be broken. A strong man in the Saint King realm. For the 3 major hidden families in the Eastern Wasteland, they are stronger than dozens of powerful people who have entered the Saint realm. Of course, this is conditional. This young master needs your Huo family to donate 90% of the resources in stock. When Huo Tianshang and others were shocked when they heard this, Xiao Chen added in a calm voice. What? You want 90% of the Huo family's resources? Huo Tianshang's expression changed drastically when he heard this, and he stared at Xiao Chen solemnly. Sir, do you want to drive the Huo family to a dead end by opening your mouth like this? After saying these words, Huo Tianshang and others were secretly on guard. He can activate the mountain guarding formation at any time, and even wake up Senior Sheng Luan. Using 90% of the Huo family's resources in exchange for a strong Saint King, do you think this transaction is a loss? After hearing Huo Tianshang's words, Xiao Chen just smiled lightly. Not to mention, if I want to drive your Huo family to a dead end, I can do it with just this corpse puppet next to me. Why should I waste my time talking to you in such a nice manner? If it weren't for uncertainty, what level of strength had the Saint King behind the Huo family reached? Also, subduing the Huo family has more potential value than destroying the Huo family. I don't think Xiao Chen would be so patient. How can I trust you? Hearing this, Huo Tianshang took a deep breath and looked at Xiao Chen with some struggle. If he could exchange 90% of the Huo family's resources for his family to be promoted to the Saint King realm, this deal would definitely be worthwhile. But Xiao Chen, he had just killed several elders of their Huo family, why should he help him be promoted to the Saint King realm now? Isn't it possible that the other party is afraid that after he breaks through, he will turn against him and deny him? After bidding farewell to Sister Zuner, I went to a high-end restaurant I acquired and prepared to inspect my employees. Unexpectedly, I saw a familiar figure. Forget it, I will let you open your eyes. After hearing Huo Tianshang's words, Xiao Chen didn't have the patience to talk nonsense, and after saying something lightly, he raised his hand and snapped his fingers. The 5 elements undead corpse puppet gave a low roar and immediately appeared next to Huo Tianshang, suppressing it with terrifying power. Directly grab the opponent's neck and lift him in front of Xiao Chen. Master. The expressions of several other elders around him changed drastically when they saw what was happening in front of them. Quickly, activate the family's mountain protection formation and prepare to awaken Senior Shengluan. One of the elders couldn't help but roar loudly, and an extremely powerful aura of cultivation erupted from his body. Xiao Chen's expression did not change when he saw this, but when Huo Tianshang's pupils shrank, he burst out and pointed at Huo Tianshang. Next moment, with a burst of white light shining, Xiao Chen consumed 180,000 points. It directly repaired the old injuries and hidden diseases on Huo Tianshang's body, including the wounds left on the meridians and dantian by the backlash when the opponent broke through the Saint King realm. Is this enough? Enough. After raising his hand to repair Huo Tianshang's physical injuries, Xiao Chen immediately retracted his hand and asked with a calm face. My injuries are actually all healed. He felt that all the injuries in his body had recovered, and even some old injuries and illnesses had disappeared at this moment. Huo Tianshang's body suddenly shook. He raised his head in disbelief and looked at Xiao Chen with great excitement. Enough, enough. I didn't expect that the young master would have such unnatural means. After saying these two sentences with excitement on his face, Huo Tianshang saw the other elders burst into cultivation and seemed to be fighting to the death with Xiao Chen and others. His expression changed at this moment, and his voice exploded like thunder. Don't be rude. Who gave you permission to attack the young master? You must know that he is a strong person at the 9th level of the saint. He can heal all his injuries in an instant, which even a strong person at the Saint King level cannot do. So Huo Tianshang fully believes that Xiao Chen has the ability to help him break through the Saint King. After all, beside this man, at this moment, there stood a corpse puppet that had the cultivation level of Saint King, but was as obedient as a puppy. Such a heaven-defying method coupled with this corpse puppet. It is undoubtedly the best proof. After hearing these two words from Huo Tianshang, the other elders of the Huo family couldn't help but look confused and looked at Huo Tianshang with doubts. The tone instantly became so respectful. Is this guy being controlled? Sir, I would like to ask, if you help me break through to the Saint King realm, are you going to turn it into a corpse puppet? After drinking to silence the other elders of the Huo family, Huo Tianshang glanced at the 5 elements undead corpse puppet and asked in a somewhat uneasy voice. 49%. Chapter 236. I can only say that it was an unjust death for Huo Yao and his party. Need not. Hearing Huo Tianshang's anxious inquiry, Xiao Chen just said calmly. The reason why you can't break through the Saint King realm is simply because your talent is limited. As long as I help you cleanse your marrow and cut your veins, upgrade your talents and qualifications to the Saint King level, and cooperate with your accumulation over the years, it will not be difficult to break through to the Saint King level. Cleaning marrow and cutting veins. Help me upgrade my talent to Saint King level. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huo Tianshang couldn't help but take a deep breath, with a look of disbelief on his face. Martial Dao all the way. Talent, luck, perseverance, understanding, inheritance, resources. Almost indispensable. Generally speaking, when the following factors are very ordinary, talent determines the upper limit of a person's cultivation. His original talent and qualifications. Originally I was only admitted to Saint level middle grade, but with some holy medicine, I was forcibly upgraded to Saint level supreme grade. But it also left some hidden dangers in his body, causing his Saint King bottleneck to be stronger than others. And in order to improve the talent qualifications of 2 levels, it took him hundreds of years and several holy medicines to do it. Nowadays, if you want to upgrade your talent to the Saint King level, the cost is simply unimaginable. Even if he exhausts 90% of the Huo family's resources and asks Senior Sheng Luan to baptize him, his talent may not be able to be raised to the Saint King level. And Xiao Chen, she actually wanted to help him improve his talent, and he said it so easily and comfortably. This young master is really becoming more and more mysterious. Don't be so surprised. Improving talents may be difficult for ordinary people to achieve. But for me, it's just a piece of cake. Of course, the premise is you have to pay a price that satisfies me. Seeing the shocked look on Huo Tianshang's face, Xiao Chen didn't have the energy to play tricks on him, so he went straight to the point. Although he currently has tens of thousands of points left, I just harvested a few more powerful people who entered Saint Realm. But no one can have too much of something like resources. If you can make a fortune, it's a fortune. Sir, this is all my wealth. As for the resources in stock of the Huo family, because it involves the other 2 clan elders in the clan, I have no choice but to get it for the young master right away. After changing color, Huo Tianshang took off the ring. He handed it to Xiao Chen with a cautious look. In the House of Fire. In addition to him, the head of the family, there are also 2 descendants of Senior Sheng Luan, whose cultivation has also reached the 9th level of sainthood. But these 2 people, although he is part of the Huo family, he considers himself a guardian and usually guards the Huo family's ancestral mausoleum. Unless something unexpected happens within the Huo family, these 2 people will come out of the ancestral mausoleum to seek justice. Then, when the Hengshan Mo family and the Tianyuan Ming family invaded the Huo family, it was these 2 clan elders who turned the tide at the last moment and chased the powerful men of the 2 families for millions of miles. This laid the foundation for the Dongyuan Huo family, the head of the 3 hidden families. The inventory resources of the Huo family are stored in the ancestral mausoleum. If you want to use it, in addition to the nod from the head of the family, you also need the consent of the two clan elders. So, just now Xiao Chen asked for 90% of the resources as soon as he opened his mouth, so he was so shocked and resistant. Except for Xiao Chen, who is the head of the Huo family, he is unable to mobilize so many resources. This was my online dating partner when I was a sophomore in high school. The school beauty of the school next door at that time was also the first woman to dump me. My classmate Nalan Yanran did not expect that she is now my employee. When your cultivation reaches the Saint King level, all the resources of the Huo family will be at your disposal. Xiao Chen heard the words and took the ring, and after searching inside with his soul mind, he replied with a slight smile. Young master, do you want to help me wash my marrow and cut my veins first? Huo Tianshang's face lit up when he heard this, and he understood what the other party meant, and asked with some excitement. If Xiao Chen was willing to be accommodating, everything would be easy to solve. If he could break through to the Saint King realm, he could completely dominate all the resources of the Huo family. Relax your mind and contemplate. Xiao Chen nodded. There was no procrastination in this moment either. As he finished these words, he raised his hand to burst out the cultivation concentration runes, and pointed a finger at Huo Tianshang. The resources in the Fire Sky Shangna ring are worth at least 5 million points. In addition to helping the opponent improve their talent, he can also earn at least several million points. So be accommodating at this time and help the other person improve their talent first. Then it will be easier to deal with the overall situation, and it will also be easier for him to harvest more resources in the Huo family. Ding! The system has deducted 650,000 points and is currently improving Huo Tianshang's talent qualifications. As the system prompt tone fell, a burst of white light shone. At this time, Huo Tianshang's talent and qualifications were also upgraded to Saint King Supreme Grade. Break the upper limit in talent. When it reached an unprecedented height, there was a roar in Huo Tianshang's mind, and the whole world underwent earth-shaking changes. Some rules and regulations that he had been unable to see through in the past clearly emerged in his mind at this moment. Let him directly break through the barrier that has trapped him for 300 years. At this moment, the cultivation base has entered the Saint King level. An indescribable aura of fire attribute laws also shot up from Huo Tianshang's body into the sky. Ahahaha, is this the Saint King realm? I didn't expect that the cultivation barrier that had trapped me for 300 years could be broken through so easily after the young master gave some hints. Feeling the changes in his body's cultivation, Huo Tianshang laughed wildly at this moment. In addition, the head of this family has something to announce, so you guys should listen to me. Young Master Xiao is a nobleman of our Huo family. Anyone who sees him is like meeting the master of our family. Old thief Huo Yao has evil intentions. He has an affair with several elders in an attempt to murder the head of the family and subvert the foundation of the Huo family. Fortunately, I, Huo Tianshang, got help from young master. Not only did I eliminate several rebellious elders of the Huo family, but my cultivation level also reached the Saint King level. From now on, any disciple of the Huo family who is disrespectful to young master Xiao will have their cultivation level revoked and be expelled from the Huo family. In addition, Huo Yao, Huo Heng and many other elders who betrayed the family and all their blood relatives will have their cultivation levels abolished and be imprisoned in the ancestral mausoleum prison. You are not allowed to step outside the ancestral mausoleum again for the rest of your life. In these words, after rolling down like thunder from the sky, Huo Tianshang's figure turned into a stream of light and rushed directly into the mountains in the distance. The thunder clouds that emerged in the sky also followed Huo Tianshang in their mad rush. Killed several elders of the Huo family, then casually helped the family leader's injuries, and allowed him to successfully break through to the Saint King realm. Who the hell is this young master? Hearing Huo Tianshang's words and watching his retreating figure, the other elders of the Huo family were dumbfounded. I thought it would be next. There will be a brutal life and death battle, which may even turn into a Saint King level fight. Did not expect. The young master in front of him actually had such a method. In less than half a quarter of an hour, not only did they easily break the deadlock, but they also turned Huo Tianshang into one of their own. This reversal, this is the first time I have seen it after living for so long. And when the thought falls, each of these fire elders restrained their auras and looked at Xiao Chen with awe and shock. The overall situation is now decided. All I can say is that it was an unjust death for Huo Yao and his team. 49%. Chapter 237. Resurrecting people who have been killed. Isn't this function a bit too perverted? His methods are so outrageous to this extent. After watching this series of things happen in less than a quarter of an hour, Huo Lingji stood on the palace pavilion, her breathing becoming a little rapid. Xiao Chen said to her before. It could help her fully awaken her physique, but she still had doubts about it. After all, if her physique is fully awakened, it will be a supreme-level existence. So even if Xiao Chen had already shown extraordinary skills before this, it was still hard for her to believe that the other party could help her awaken. But now, Xiao Chen cured Huo Tianxiang with just a raise of his hand, and then helped him break through the realm. Such an unbelievable method has broken her cognition. It also made her start to believe that the other party was really capable. It's just that the other party's request was too shameless. Thinking of this, Huo Lingji's complexion kept changing, and her heart was also shaking and struggling. Your mind seems to be in chaos. While Huo Lingji was struggling in her heart, Xiao Chen also returned to the chariot palace. Feeling that Huo Lingji's breathing was a little rapid and her expression looked like she was struggling, the corners of Xiao Chen's mouth curved slightly. Hearing Xiao Chen's light words, Huo Lingji couldn't help but feel a little angry, and a blush appeared on her face. At first glance, there seems to be nothing wrong with this sentence. But combined with the conversation between the two yesterday, there was also the other party's calm attitude, as if everything was under control. When these words fell in her ears, their meaning changed a little. It's like, this young master of yours is sure to play with your delicate body. This made Huo Lingji feel ashamed and angry, but she couldn't negotiate terms with Xiao Chen. Old man Huo Xuanwu, the second elder of the Huo family, has met young master Xiao. I am Huo Xuanyi, the third elder of the Huo family. I have met young master Xiao. Not long after Xiao Chen finished speaking, several other Saint Realm elders of the Huo family came. After hesitating for a while, they all came over and saluted. Everyone looked very nervous and odd, fearing that Xiao Chen would suddenly go on a killing spree and ordered the corpse to kill them all. Well, you don't need to be nervous. I am very kind. If you want to repair the old wounds and diseases in your body, as long as you pay me a satisfactory amount, I will make an exception and help you. Looking at the fire elders in front of him, Xiao Chen didn't put on any airs at this time. Instead, he smiled lightly and said, these old guys in front of me are also fat sheep. If they can be conquered together, the Huo family will basically have no hidden dangers. Wah! What, master, are you willing to help us heal our old wounds and illnesses? After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huo Xuanwu, Huo Xuanyi and others all looked up sharply at this moment. He looked at Xiao Chen with a somewhat surprised expression. He was so cruel just now, but now he is so kind. This young man seems a little different. Sir, this is all my wealth. I hope you won't hesitate to take action. When everyone is surprised, the leader, Huo Xuanwu, took off the ring with excitement and then brought it to Xiao Chen's eyes with a cautious expression. No reason at all. Xiao Chen had just killed Huo Yao and others, and he had some grudge against Xiao Chen. After all, as the second elder of the Huo family, he was originally on Huo Tianxiang's side. Usually, he has accumulated a lot of resentment towards Huo Yao's actions. Now that Huo Yao and others have fallen, they are only to blame themselves. Yes, he is indeed a smart man. Seeing Huo Xuanwu taking such initiative, a look of admiration appeared on Xiao Chen's face, and his soul thought penetrated into the ring. After seeing that there were many high-level resources and mountains of spiritual crystals inside, his eyes couldn't help but light up slightly. Leave aside the spiritual crystal. Just these resource items are worth 3 to 4 million points. As expected, all the elders of the Huo family are fat sheep. Relax and don't resist. After putting away the ring, Xiao Chen said casually and pointed at Huo Xuanwu. Next moment, after spending nearly 400,000 points, Xiao Chen not only repaired Huo Xuanwu's old injury and hidden disease, but also upgraded the opponent's talent from Saint level to Saint King low grade. This deal was definitely a profit for Huo Xuanwu. Of course, for Xiao Chen, it was also earned with blood. Under the repair of old wounds and hidden diseases, some talents have also undergone transformation. Huo Xuanwu's body couldn't help but tremble, and his cultivation level broke through to the 9th level of sainthood. Ah ha ha ha, it's amazing, it's really amazing. This is simply a godlike method. Huo Xuanwu was excited and ecstatic when he felt the breakthrough in his body's cultivation and the possibility of hitting the Saint King in the future. Bow deeply to Xiao Chen. I would like to thank you for your great kindness. If you have anything to do in the future, please feel free to ask me. Seeing this scene in front of them, the other elders couldn't help it anymore. One by one, they dedicated their lives, and finally, with the help of Xiao Chen, new breakthroughs were made in their cultivation. And in the future, the upper limit of what cultivation can achieve is far beyond their expectations. I remember that year, I went to look for her, but she didn't expect me to say that I had nothing but being handsome, so how could I be worthy of her? But now she has become my employee, so stubborn. After seeing that Huo Tianshang hasn't returned from transcending tribulation yet, under the arrangement of Huo Xuanwu and others, Xiao Chen and his party also came to the core area of Dongyuan Huo family. And Huo Yao, Huo Heng and others became blood relatives in less than half an hour. He was suppressed and abolished by Huo Xuanwu and others, and was finally imprisoned in the ancestral mausoleum of the Huo family. As expected of the Huo family, these senior figures alone have actually made my points balance reach more than 53 million. In a luxurious palace of the Huo family, Xiao Chen spent half an hour. Finally, all the strong men's najis were checked one by one and sorted for recycling. After retaining some useful materials and replacing some previously retained resource items, I didn't expect that the points could soar to such an extent. This was far beyond his expectation. It was really worth it to come to Huojia this time. The Huo family still has resources in stock. If we can harvest these, we can earn another 20 to 30 million points. After taking a look at the properties panel, Xiao Chen's face lifted slightly. If he can also kill the other two major hidden families, his points balance will easily break through the 100 million mark. I have so many points that I don't know how to squander them. Breaking through 100 million seems to be nothing. As his thoughts were turning, Xiao Chen muttered. Points can't directly improve his cultivation, and he can't become stronger overnight. No matter how many points you get, it can only be used to build power and improve those around you. Ding! If your points reach the 100 million mark, you can upgrade the system level. When Xiao Chen finished his thoughts, the system suddenly improved. Upgrading the system. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned when he heard this, and then asked. What's good? If there is no benefit to upgrading the system, wouldn't his 100 million points be wasted? Ding! When the system is upgraded to version 2.0, the resurrection ability will be enabled and the host will be given an upgrade gift package. Resurrection ability. Can use the relics left by the fallen people to trace back to the origin of time and space with the breath on them, ignoring the blockade of the laws of heaven and earth. Repair the opponent's soul and true spirit, and reshape the physical body and soul so that they can be reborn into this world again. After hearing the system's answer, Xiao Chen couldn't help but take a deep breath, with a shocked look on his face. It can actually ignore the blockade of the laws of heaven and resurrect people who have died. Isn't this function a bit too perverted? If he collects enough points to upgrade the system, wouldn't it be equivalent to immortality? 49%. Chapter 238 Regarding what you said yesterday, Lingji, can agree to your conditions. System, after you upgrade, this function shouldn't be free, right? After feeling excited in his heart, Xiao Chen asked in a low voice as if he thought of something. With such a powerful and perverted function, if it can still be used for free, then the system will definitely be awesome. Ding! After the system is upgraded, the host can have the ability to resurrect independently, but every time it is used, it will fall into a 1-month cooling off period. If you want to use the resurrection ability again, you must consume 100 million points to reset the cooldown time of the resurrection ability. After resurrection, the host's cultivation level will be the same as before. In addition, every time the host uses the resurrection ability to resurrect another person, no matter what the other party's cultivation level is, it will also consume 100 million points. And after resurrection, although the other party has the previous realm perception, there is no cultivation level in him. After hearing the system's answer, Xiao Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. Really, there are still restrictions. However, he has a free resurrection opportunity every month, which is quite a benefit for him. System, why can I retain my cultivation before death when I am resurrected, but cannot retain my cultivation if I resurrect others? While feeling shocked and surprised in his heart, Xiao Chen couldn't help but asked with some doubts. Ding! The host is the master of the system. The system can retain the current cultivation level for the host before death, but other people are not bound to the system, so the system cannot retain the cultivation level for other people. After hearing Xiao Chen's inquiry, the system said mechanically. I see. Xiao Chen was relieved after hearing this. He thought the system was trying to be lazy, but he didn't expect this to be the reason. It seems that next, I have to save 100 million points to upgrade the system to version 2.0. But before that, we still can't be too stingy in some places where points are consumed. As the thought fell, Xiao Chen made a decision in his heart. Seeing my appearance, classmate Nalan Yanran was very surprised and seemed to be confused. How could a poor boy like me appear here, but how could she know? I am now a billionaire. Sir, Huo Lingji is here. Just when Xiao Chen was about to play with Kayan and others, Kayan suddenly raised her head and said, causing a surprised look on Xiao Chen's face. Interesting, have you figured it out? Xiao Chen raised the corners of his mouth slightly when he heard this, with a look of anticipation on his face. Hee, it seems that my brother-in-law has another beauty. Kai Dai on the side said something weird, which made Kai Yan couldn't help but glare at him. Marong Qingshe and others sighed softly. I've only known this one for less than 3 days, and there will be one more future empress. Mr. Xiao, Lingji is here to visit. I hope to see you. Just as everyone's thoughts were turning, Huo Lingji's words came in. Come in, Xiao Chen spoke calmly after hearing this, and the palace door opened automatically. Under the light, at first glance, Huo Lingji saw Xiao Chen sitting cross-legged in the middle, and there were 13 beauties sitting cross-legged on the left and right sides. A dozen eyes looked over at her in an instant, even she was a stunning beauty. At this time, I also felt a strong sense of oppression. However, after thinking about the advice her master Huo Xuanyi gave her just now, she also made a decision after struggling for a long time in her heart. Huo Lingji took a deep breath and mustered up the courage to step into the hall. Lingji has met Mr. Xiao and all of you, sisters. After walking into the hall, feeling the eyes looking at her, Huo Lingji had a blush on her face. Then he bit the bullet and spoke. Although I don't know the specific age of the other people present, but it's always right to lower your profile first. You have something to do with me. Seeing this naturally charming woman, she became so restrained at this moment. Xiao Chen said knowingly. You. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Huo Lingji suddenly became angry and raised her head to stare directly at Xiao Chen. This young man who can kill 1,000 swords. He obviously said that if he figured it out, he could come to him privately. Now she's here. Even if there are so many beauties in the hall, this damn guy still asks questions knowingly. Isn't this pure intention stimulating her? Sir, regarding what you said yesterday, Lingji can agree to your conditions. After taking a deep breath and suppressing the anger and shyness in her heart, Huo Lingji blushed and gritted her teeth. After speaking the last few words with a trembling voice, Huo Lingji seemed to have been drained of all her strength. In order to have a better future in the future, she finally gave into reality after struggling for a long time. Instead of struggling to find ways to awaken your physique, you have to be wary of other men's coveting and spying day and night. It's better to find someone you can rely on. Although the young master in front of her made her so angry that she gritted her teeth. But it's undeniable. Xiao Chen is the best among the men she knows, in terms of appearance, talent, and various methods. There is nothing wrong with committing yourself to a man like this. It's just that the time we've known each other is too short, and we don't know each other very well yet. She felt a little rushed and unable to let go. There is no need to say it with such aggrieved words and gnashing of teeth. It makes me feel like I am forcing a good girl from a good family. After hearing Huo Lingji's words, Xiao Chen stood up and walked to the other party, teasing Huo Lingji's chin. But your shy and angry expression, coupled with your stunning face, really has an indescribable beauty. After teasing Huo Lingji a little, her breathing became more and more rapid and she looked really angry. Xiao Chen also issued repair instructions to the system at this time. Ding! The system has deducted 1.4 million points and is repairing Huo Lingji's supreme level physique. As the system prompt tone fell, a burst of white light shone. Huo Lingji's Tianxinwome body, which was originally incomplete and could not be fully awakened, burst out with an astonishing energy at this moment. A terrifying charm fire also erupted from Huo Lingji's body, directly burning her clothes. At the same time, Huo Lingji's cultivation aura also surged crazily as she screamed. Almost in a matter of moments. It has skyrocketed from the 4th level of Nirvana to the 7th level of Nirvana, and it is still improving at a terrifying speed. It is indeed the charming fire of heaven's heart. Just a little bit of it makes your body uncontrollably excited. Looking at the seductive body shrouded in charming fire in front of him, Xiao Chen backed away a lot and murmured something solemn. Just a little bit. The energy and blood all over his body boiled uncontrollably, and an extremely strong primitive desire emerged in his body. If he hadn't possessed the soul of Bodhi enlightenment, his soul power and willpower would have been very powerful. I'm afraid now I can't help but burst into clothes and transform into an evil beast, pounce into the enchanted fire and ravage Huo Lingji fiercely. Young master, this time, we have an incredible beauty. Seeing the charming fire completely covering Huo Lingji's figure, the hall was filled with an indescribable heat. Kaiyan stared at Huo Lingji solemnly and said in a low voice. This kind of charming fire breath. Even a strong person like her who entered Saint Realm was disturbed at this time, and she couldn't help but have impulses in her heart. I want to press Xiao Chen next to me to the ground and rub her. It's just that Huo Lingji has just fully awakened and her cultivation has reached the Nirvana realm. If you reach Saint Realm like her, even she can't resist this weird flame. 49%. Chapter 239 Young Master, you ask them all to leave, are you afraid that you won't be able to resist? It's just a supreme level talent, but this level is far from enough. As long as the woman is a young master, she will definitely be an empress from now on. After hearing Kaiyan's words, Xiao Chen just smiled and said. Although the words were not very loud, they revealed a kind of confidence. As if his woman cannot become an empress in the future, it will be the greatest insult to him. Kaiyan was slightly startled when she heard this, and then smiled. It is truly the greatest honor in her life to have such a confident and charming husband. Well, brother Xiao Chen, I suddenly feel so hot. Just when Xiao Chen finished speaking, Xiao Meier and Xiao Linger, who were relatively weak in cultivation, all rushed over with red faces at this moment. This made Xiao Chen's expression change slightly. Too sloppy. Once this Tianxin charming fire is contaminated, it is equivalent to a strong aphrodisiac. Hiss, if these women continue to stay here, then he will not even think about walking out tomorrow. Kai Yan, Kai Dai, take them out quickly. After taking a deep breath, Xiao Chen immediately said to Kai Yan and Kai Dai before the situation got out of control. Why? After hearing this, Katie appeared beside Xiao Chen with excitement on her face. Her eyes became a little watery at this moment, as if she thought the next situation would be very fun. I asked you to take them out, but you still pretend to be innocent here. After hearing Kai Dai's words, before Xiao Chen could speak, Kai Yan slapped him on the head. Regarding this sister who always wanted to cause trouble and whose nature was worse than hers, Kaiyan was not at all hesitant about her actions now. After the words fell, Kaiyan tore a hole in the hall and left the hall with Xiao Meier and others. I can tell, Huo Lingji still couldn't let go. What's more, if so many people come together, Xiao Chen may be exhausted. Seeing that a large area of the hall was instantly cleared, Xiao Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The body of fire. If there is another ice soul body in the future, it will truly be the two heavens of ice and fire. Looking at the snow-white figure looming in the charming fire, Xiao Chen couldn't help but have an evil thought in his mind. Sir, you ask them all to leave, are you afraid that you won't be able to resist them? Just when Xiao Chen's thoughts fell, a charming voice also came from the flames, and the numbing feeling made people feel angry and blood flowing. Then, under Xiao Chen's gaze, Tianxin charming fire continued to shrink. A veil of flames formed directly on Huo Lingji's snow-white body, covering the other party's private parts. At this time, Huo Lingji's cultivation aura soared to the 9th level of nirvana. I'm just afraid that you won't be able to resist. Hearing Huo Lingji's charming words, and watching the other person's bare feet, shrouded in flame veil, swaying towards him step by step. Xiao Chen couldn't help but take a deep breath, and his words echoed in a low tone. This woman, compared to the restrained appearance just now, it was like a completely different person at this time. This kind of posture that charms all living beings is like a succubus coming out of hell. A smile can make people crazy. Is it possible? Huo Lingji awakened not only her physique, but also released the lust hidden in her body. Grr, young master is quite confident in himself. After letting out a chuckle, Huo Lingji came to Xiao Chen with bare feet, and lightly traced her green jade fingers across the other person's body. The Tianxin charming fire then erupted violently, directly covering Xiao Chen inside. Master, don't you want me? Next, let Lingji take a good look at how long you can hold on in this gentle land that seems to be as tender as water, but is actually as passionate as fire. As the words echoed in the hall, the Tianxin charming fire completely overwhelmed the two of them. When the body is fully awakened, Huolingji discovered that once the Tianxin Huome body is fully awakened, the desires in the body will be infinitely amplified. Even the Tianxin charming fire must be combined with Yangqi to achieve perfection and be absorbed into the body. In addition, Xiao Chen had just taken action without warning to help her restore her physique. When she felt astonished, she couldn't help but feel a little moved in her heart. His favorable impression of Xiao Chen has skyrocketed. And I also promised just now that I would become Xiao Chen's woman in this life. Therefore, under the explosion of these factors, Huolingji did not choose to exercise restraint in the end and allowed the Tianxin charming fire to rage wildly. That's why there was such a big change in attitude. Certainly, Huolingji also had a bit of revenge at this time. She must let this young man who killed 1,000 swords be killed. Let's see how powerful she is, in return for being so angry with her these past 2 days. Well, I feel like I should have a beautiful picture of Yanlingji, so I'll pause the short story here. The other side. When Xiao Chen and Huolingji competed. Far away in the Xiao family in Luyun City in Guangzhou, a woman who had been in seclusion for more than 10 days slowly opened her eyes at this time. This person is Emperor Lu Divine Maiden, also known as Lu Ruoxian. After Xiao Chen gave her the Saint King Supreme Grade Demonic Spirit Soul Capture Flower and the Saint King Supreme Grade Soul Resurrection Purple Pill, she began to retreat deeply to recover her cultivation. The energy contained in these two spiritual objects is too terrifying. However, as a spirit of vegetation, she was born with an advantage in refining elixirs and spiritual materials from heaven and earth that other creatures could not match. This time, it took more than 10 days of seclusion to completely refine these two spiritual objects. Saint King 8th level. Feeling the power of cultivation surging within her body, Lu Ruoxian couldn't help but frown. On the 7th day of seclusion and refining, the dark and ominous power suddenly rebounded, causing her to be distracted and suppress it. This also caused the two spiritual objects to lose a lot of medicinal power, so the cultivation level could not be restored to the 9th level of Saint King. But this level of cultivation is enough for now. No one below the Supreme can defeat me. After whispering softly, Lu Ruoxian's soul thoughts also spread crazily, but Xiao Chen and others were not found. Not in Luyun City. Even the auras of those women disappeared together. The figure is suspended in the void. After finding Xiao Chen and others, Lu Ruoxian took out a jade pendant for communication, and a message was sent out. After a while, as Lu Ruoxian received a message, there was a faint gasp. After being stunned for a moment, she couldn't help but sigh softly. The figure also tore into the void and disappeared in place. Dongyuan Huo's family is thousands of miles away. A huge mysterious arc. It was like a giant coon in the void, exuding great pressure, no matter how close it was to the Dongyuan Huo family. And on the deck of Xuanzhou, each old man exudes an aura of terror, making people feel frightened just by looking at them. This group of people, they are all the top experts of the Mohist family in Hengshan. After 2.5 days of traveling, they finally approached the Dongyuan Huo family. Master, we are about to arrive at the Dongyuan Huo family's lair. After checking the map, an old man raised his head and said with a somewhat solemn voice. But he just finished speaking. But he found that Mo Changgong was staring at the void, with a look of solemnity and disbelief on his face. Master, is something wrong? Others also noticed the abnormality of Mo Changgong, and couldn't help but ask with some doubts at this moment. I feel that there is still the aura of heavenly calamity in this void. It seems like not too long ago, someone just got through the thunder tribulation. And the level of this faint aura of heavenly tribulation is far higher than that of the transcending tribulation. Could it be that this is the Saint King Thunder tribulation? After hearing other people's inquiries, Mo Changgong pondered for a moment and then spoke in a solemn voice. 50%. Chapter 240. With Lord Corp's ancestor supporting them, the fate of history will never happen again. What? Saint King Thunder tribulation. After hearing Mo Changgong's words, the expressions of the other elders of the Mo family changed instantly. Master, are you saying that someone in Dongyuan Huo's family may have broken through to the Saint King? After taking a deep breath, the elders said in shock. Saint King Realm. This is the King of the Saint Realm stage. Once your cultivation reaches this realm, you can communicate with the laws of heaven and earth to increase yourself. The combat power that can be unleashed far exceeds that of the strong men in Saint Realm. Without any exaggeration, a transcendent level powerhouse who has just broken through to the Saint King Realm is fully capable. he can easily defeat more than a dozen strong men who have entered the 9th level Saint King realm. Not to mention, among their group, except for Mo Changgong and the 2 corpse puppet ancestors, everyone else's cultivation level is below the 9th level of sainthood. If the Dongyuan Huo family really has a new powerful Saint King, then their group should turn around quickly. Why panic? So what if the Dongyuan Huo family has a newly promoted Saint King? Behind our Mo family, we have corpse ancestors supporting us. She is a veteran Saint King. She has been practicing for at least 2,000 years. Her cultivation is unfathomable. If you want to deal with a new Saint King, it's just a matter of a few seconds. What's more, the head of this family is just suspicious. Whether the Huo family has a new Saint King or not, we still have to fight to find out. Seeing the panic on the faces of the other elders, Mo Changgong couldn't help but shouted in a low voice, and his words shocked the others. As far as he knows, except for the old guy Huo Tianshang, there are only 2 other guardians among the powerful people in the 9th level of sainthood in the Huo family. And they received news a few days ago that Huo Tianshang failed to attack the Saint King realm, and his meridians and dantian were injured. So, can Huo Tianshang return to his peak in a short period of time, let alone break through Saint King? Still a problem. We are approaching the Huo family at full speed. We can't wait for what corpse ancestor told us. After suppressing the distracting thoughts in his heart, Mo Changgong also issued the order. Now, 3.5 days have passed since corpse ancestor issued the order. If they can't find it within the next 3.5 days. As a girl with a fire attribute saint rank physique, prepare to bear the wrath of the corpse ancestor. Certainly, what Mo Changgong and others didn't know was that they were already a step too late. The woman they were looking for had already been baptized by Xiao Chen. She is no longer an innocent girl. Over time, the distance of thousands of miles is also constantly shortening, and the mountain gate building where the Dongyuan Huo family is located also comes into the eyes of Mo Changgong and others. Haha, this must be my second time here. Looking at the Huo family's lair in front of him, which was located among the peaks and mountains, just like the blessed land of Grotto Heaven, Mo Changgong couldn't help but sneer at this moment. Last time, hundreds of years ago, he was not the head of the Mo family, but a humble elder. Under the leadership of the old head of the Mo family, they were hunted down in a dangerous situation. But now, with Lord Corpse ancestor supporting them, the fate of history will never happen again. When I was recalling it, classmate Nolan thought that I was determined to pursue her and wanted to pursue her, so she asked me to get out quickly and wait until she got off work. I then showed my cards right away. Blow open their mountain gate and force those old guys out. Looking at the mountain gate of Dongyuan Huo's family from a distance, Mo Changgong gave instructions in a low voice. All the elders sitting cross-legged on the mysterious ark, as well as many celestial human realm experts, all burst into cultivation at this moment. Dark green true energy poured crazily into the deck of the Tianmo boat, and mysterious formation patterns continued to light up. In front of the Tianmo boat, there was a huge skull embedded in it, and 2 will-o'-the-wisps suddenly lit up in its eyes. A destructive beam of true energy also continued to condense in the skull. What is that? Just as Tianmo Zhou was approaching rapidly, the Huo family disciples who were repairing the mountain gate saw the small black dot in the distance. I couldn't help but exclaim at this moment. Hiss. That's Tianmo Zhou. He is from the Mohist family in Hengshan. Enemy attack. A deacon elder of the Huo family with a relatively high level of cultivation was trying to figure out what that little black dot was. He immediately burst into cultivation and rushed into Huo's house, shouting hysterically. At the same time as the words came out, a destructive dark beam also streaked through the shattering void sky like lightning. After twisting and tearing apart the space, it bombarded the mountain gate of the Huo family. Accompanied by a roaring sound, the destructive power of the storm erupted like a tsunami. All the mountain gates of the Huo family collapsed at this moment, and the earth within a few dozen miles was shaking. Those Huo family disciples who had not had time to retreat were all turned into ashes amid the roar. The Huo family's mountain protecting formation. It also activated independently during this impact, and a protective shield instantly enveloped it. Who dares to offend my Dongyuan Huo family? I noticed that the mountain gate was being bombarded. An angry voice echoed in the void, followed by figures rising into the sky. Huo Xuanwu, Huo Xuanyi and many other powerful people who entered Saint Realm tore through the void and appeared at the mountain gate at this moment. Seeing that the mountain gate was blasted out with a deep pit hundreds of feet in size, all the buildings within a radius of 10,000 feet were reduced to rubble. Anger also surged in the hearts of several people. 2 hours ago, the Huo family had just been ravaged by Xiao Chen, and 5 elders who had entered the Saint Realm died on the spot. Unexpectedly, after a while, the Huo family mountain gate was bombarded again. Did the Dongyuan Huo family encounter evil spirits today? Tian Mo Zhou. He's a traitor to the Mo family in Hengshan. Huo Xuanwu, Huo Xuanyi and others couldn't help but shrink their pupils after seeing the skeleton arc. The Mo family's Tianmo boat generally would not be dispatched easily. Every time they are dispatched, it must be a big deal, and the top brass of the Mo family will come out in full force. The last time Tianmo Zhou was dispatched was hundreds of years ago when he teamed up with the Tianyuan Ming family to invade the Huo family. But now, they only saw the Mo family's Tianmo Zhou, but not the Ming family's Xuanyu Ming Zhou. The Mo family dared to invade the Dongyuan Huo family without forming an alliance. Will the Huo family just send you out? Huo Tianshang and Huo Yao. Mo Changgong led many Saint Realm elders and stood on the bow of the Tianmo boat, looking at Huo Xuanwu and others indifferently. He spoke in a cold voice. But before he could finish his words, he realized that the cultivation auras of Huo Xuanwu, Huo Xuanyi and others were much stronger than he thought. His pupils couldn't help but shrink, and his voice became extremely shocked at this moment. How can it be? Your cultivation levels have all broken through. As far as he knows, Huo Xuanwu should be in the 8th level of sainthood, and Huo Xuanyi should be in the 7th level of sainthood. But now, one has reached the 9th level of sainthood, and the other has reached the 8th level of sainthood. Both of them have broken through a smaller realm than before. Not only Huo Xuanwu and Huo Xuanyi, but also several other powerful people who have entered Saint Realm, their cultivation is stronger than before. Is it because their intelligence was wrong during this period, or are the top leaders of the Huo family hiding their cultivation? But so what if you hide your cultivation? You old guys alone can't stop us. When he was shocked and puzzled, Mo Changgong suppressed the distracting thoughts in his heart and immediately gave instructions to everyone. Let's all take action together. Blow open their mountain protecting formation first. There is no turning back when the bow is drawn. Now that he has chosen to attack the Dongyuan Huo family, then they couldn't just give up this opportunity to destroy the Huo family because of wrong intelligence. Destroy the Huo family because of wrong intelligence. Destroy the Huo family because